Hello, everyone. Welcome to the last of our holiday one-shot adventures. This time, GM'd by the wonderful, incomparable Kevin.
I don't know about all that. So this is a holiday special for me. When I was a kid back in the Stone Ages, I became a Trekkie at age 10. My dad took me to see Wrath of Khan in the theater. And of course, I knew the television show was around, but I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it. And so I was hooked at that point. It's also my introduction to role playing games, even though I didn't run or play it for a very long time. My first purchases were FASA's Star Trek system, and much like the original series movies of the time, were a fairly militaristic take on the franchise, which, of course, in our shinier, happier days now, you don't see much of that. But that's what makes it a holiday special for me. I guess we'll sort of go around the circle and introduce ourselves. Who is Jonesy? You're up here on the top row with me. Tell us about yourself.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I am Jonesy. I am. Sorry, I I'm distracted. I'm part of the channel. I'm part of the various superhero shenanigans that we've got going on the channel. And tonight I'll be playing Bob, our security. I mean, science. Sorry, science officer.
I guess who you want to pass it to?
I'll go down to Alex.
Everybody, I'm Alex Thomas. I'm the line developer for Mutants and Masterminds of Green Rooney Publishing and the executive producer here at the Untold Stories Project. And today I will be taking on the lovable role of the ship's doctor, Terry Hathaway, who is not here for all this space business, but is here to help everybody's bones be not broken. It's going to be great. Damn it, Kevin, I'm a doctor, not a live streamer. And I will pass it over to Cammy over here.
Hi. Thank you very much. My name is Cammy. Pronouns are they, them. I will be portraying First Officer Owen Barnes tonight. They are Starfleet by family and trade. They did some time as a helmsman and worked their way up to being number one. This is also my first time on Untold Story Project. Thank you very much for having me on this wonderful little campaign.
Well, thank you for coming with us, Cammy.
My pleasure.
And over to Tom.
My name is Tom Prevendusky. How's everybody? Today I'm going to be playing Zankir Nar, the Tellerate engineer. This is like my second time on USP, and it's always a wonderful time to come back.
Yes, Tom GM'd our Low Life live stream last year, and I got to play a Twinkie with a spear. It was wonderful.
Twinkie with a spear.
There are many ways we can interpret that.
All of them are true.
Wow.
Okay, Kevin, over to you.
All right. So I guess to sort of set the scene, it is the late 23rd century. For those of you passingly familiar with Trek, that is our specific time period is after Star Trek the Motion Picture, but before Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Everyone's wearing a red shirt, so no one is safe. Just that's the sort of world we live in. Tensions are rising with the Klingon Empire. And of course, the Romulans are always looking for opportunities. And so into this Cold War era of space exploration, the intrepid crew of the USS Griffin is patrolling the Triangle, which is sort of a Caribbean Sea of the 17th century, but it's the 23rd century in space. There's a lot of lawless folk roaming this part of the galaxy because the three big players in the Alpha and Beta Quadrant are kind of sort of keeping their distance. So there's lots of room for chicanery and tomfoolery and whatnot. Last year's holiday stream, the Griffin had to dive into the Cerulean Crown Nebula to rescue some out of contact Federation expatriates who were about to find themselves behind lines in the Klingons' expanding empire. And there was some shenanigans there. You can check that out on YouTube if you wanted the details. But so we're going to pick up with our intrepid starship on patrol in the Triangle. Apologies to the people at Modifius for my horrible British accent, but of course, Captain Patrick Stanforth Morgan, yeah, he's from that faraway isle. So apologies to you actors out there. My accents are not the greatest. Stardate 8245.7. The Griffin is on patrol in the Triangle after a harrowing rescue of Federation expatriates in the Cerulean Crown Nebula. Klingon devils to the left, Romulan fiends to the right. A veritable hellscape of threats to Federation security, if they would be so bold. And so, sort of pan over to the bridge where everyone is sort of at their stations. Actually, the captain is practicing his speeches for these threats to Federation security. And so Mr. Barnes is sitting in the center seat. Everyone else is at their bridge station, except for, of course, I don't know what it is with Starfleet doctors. They're always just hanging out on the bridge. You know, they're social creatures, I guess. Right, Terry?
Nobody gets hurt in the future.
That is so correct. So over at communications, Lieutenant Kano, who's a Lyran, is a Star Wars ripoff that is sort of a purple-skinned version of the Arcona. If you remember that golden-eyed creature that pops its head up in the Star Wars cantina. He is the communications officer, and he turns to Commander Barnes and says, "We're receiving a planetary distress call from New Sahara."
On screen.
Okay. It is an automated message. There is sort of a computerized text only.
Right.
And it's, you know, the typical New Sahara is declaring a Class 1 planetary emergency. Please respond with all haste. This message will repeat. And so, Mr. Barnes, you don't have to roll to know that that's supposed to be reserved for like planetary catastrophes of an apocalyptic nature. Like, this is not like, hey, we ran out of Starbucks. Like, this is kind of a big deal
Gotcha.
that a planetary distress call is coming through.
What do I know about that planet by name already?
Okay, so this is where we get to test out our dice, as it were. So on your character sheet, you can click Insight and Science.
Science feels good. I have a focus on history. Would that be applicable
Yes,
here?
that would be applicable. So you can click that your focus is on. That means if you get if you roll your science score or less, that counts the same thing as a natural 1. It counts as 2 successes. Are you testing it with just your knowledge, or are you assisting by browsing at the ships? The ship can assist, if you will.
As first officer, most of my duty is kind of management. So rather than leaning on my ship first, I think I would pose the question to the rest of the bridge crew if anyone else is familiar with this planet or this system that it could come from. See if there's anyone else on the bridge that could aid me in that research.
Okay, so that's great. We're getting right into the mechanics of this for those who aren't familiar with the system. So you guys that are on the bridge, Terry and Zanker and Bob, we should probably use those last names. It's so official in Starfleet. Anyway, so you can use that same sort of choice of attributes, or if you have an argument for why your character should use something different, you know, you can do that. You're just going to roll a single challenge die or a single d20. So you can select your insight and science, or if you want to argue for a different set of stats and or an applicable focus, you can do so. And then you're going to roll 1d20. And the trick of it is assisting in Modifius, as long as the main actor gets at least 1 success, all of your assistance rolls will stack. However, if the main actor doesn't score any successes, then all the assistance in the world is going to get you.
Awesome. So I click on Insight Science, and then I click the 1 over here on Task Roll, and then the Starfleet logo?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And then my secondary question, most comfortable in a crowd is one of my values. Would that be something to also put into effect here?
Well, the values come into effect. There's a mechanic called determination, which is kind of like if you've played Pathfinder 2, the hero point, or similar, I guess, to D&D 5e's inspiration point.
Okay.
You can spend that determination if one of your values would apply. And one of the things you can do with that point of determination, your standard main character actor would be rolling 2d20, assistants are rolling 1d20. You can also purchase extra dice. If you got something that's challenging and you want to make sure that you succeed, you can purchase extra dice. If you use your determination point, you don't roll a d20. It counts as an automatic natural one on a d20, but you're still capped at 5 total in your dice pool. So this is not something critical. I wouldn't recommend using determination for this.
Thank you. I was just getting clarification.
That's good.
I am brand new to this specific system, and while there are many parts of it that feel very intuitive to me already, such as the attributes and disciplines and what they mean, the scoring system and some of the input is a little counterintuitive because I'm very D&D 5e heavy. I've also played Kinsale and Brooms. So thank you for welcoming me, and thank you for taking the time to explain to me, and of course to the folks at home. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm rolling 2 task rolls with my focus and my insight and science, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So quick question, Kevin. Since my character is the science officer, I'm assuming that most of my stuff would be like, I've got xenobiology and geography and stuff like that, and geology and stuff like that. So my guess is that any of the assistance I would give would be about the planet itself and things like that.
Right. And that's the system is kind of player agency heavy. Like as long as you can make an argument for it, you can sort of finagle, this is what I'm doing and this is how it's helpful. So I'm going to use these stats and this focus to make sure that I pull that off.
Looked like I needed the assist. I only had 1 success.
Well, and I guess here's, if you're new to the system, and again, of course, I'm glad that as a new player, you're asking these questions, but this is also good for anyone in our audience who's interested in the system but doesn't know it. So we can talk this out for their sake as well. So this is good. The difficulty scale goes from 0 to 5. Technically, a difficulty 0, you don't have to roll, but you can choose to, because the number of successes beyond what you need puts momentum in your momentum pool. Well, that reminds me, I should dish out everyone's determination point.
Yeah.
Everyone has one to start.
Huzzah, I'm determined.
There's 4 players. It's been a long time since I used the roll 20, so hopefully this. No, all players. All players. Okay.
And I know that they recently released the actual.
Oh, whoa, that's too much. I didn't want to give everybody 4 determination points. That's 1 more than you're allowed to have.
Hey, no backsies.
Let's try. Oh, watch me. It's all coming back.
No, give it back.
No
Let's
backsies.
try that again.
Yeah, I know they
One.
recently.
Return the points to me. That's a Ferengi move, man. Give it back.
Hey, you don't know those guys yet. Let's try this again.
Rule of acquisition number 74. No backsies.
Jonesy,
There we go.
Modifius recently released official determination points.
No, official. Like they have the compendium up for Star Trek now.
And what was the name of that planet that the beacon's coming from, so I can write it down?
New Sahara.
Like the desert?
Yes.
Thank you.
Which, even if you don't roll well, that should be enough to tell you it's probably been cataloged by somebody from Earth, or someone a little fascinated with Earth.
Gotcha.
Okay, so this was, I mean, just to know about the planet is kind of a difficulty 0 thing.
Mhm.
So you have generated 3 points of momentum. And so I'll sort of keep that in my pool. You should be able to see all that there.
Gotcha.
So, New Sahara is one of 2 Class M worlds in the Earth system, spelled OERTH. Again, it's all about the Easter eggs on the stream. It is Class M, but nominal. There's not a lot of surface water, and it is a little on the inside of the habitable zone of the star system. So it's arid and dry. Most of its water
On the inside of the Goldilocks zone.
is under the surface. It is known for its mining. It was settled before there was a federation. So, some of those early human scouts, there was no prime directive. So, they may have done some naughty things. The other planet in the system is known as New Siberia. As far as you know, it's not inhabited. It's a little further out in the habitable zone, and it is very chilly. Although, again, Class M, which means livable, neither one of them are necessarily pleasant.
I mean, technically, Siberia is livable.
Yes.
Well, in
Yes.
theory.
In theory. In theory.
Technically, which is the best kind of correct.
So with the 3 momentum, if you have in the Modiphius system, and this is kind of universal for like, you'll find minor variances as you go through their different settings. Achtung Cthulhu, Conan, Star Trek Adventures, Dune, but momentum, like that's kind of a core mechanic in all those systems. So you've generated that 3 points of momentum. If you have specific questions you want to ask, you may spend that momentum for extra information, or you can just bank it in the collective pool that can be used later for, various things. Oh, that's right. I need to give myself threat. I get 2 points of threat.
No, you don't need to remember to do that. Just look over there. Distraction.
And I can spend that to make life more difficult for you. If you're rolling lots of bad rolls, and I don't feel like complicating your life every time you get a complication on the dice, I can just bank it in my threat pool and throw that at you later.
Oh, fun.
But hey, so is there anything further you want to know about the system? It is roughly in the middle of the triangle, so it's not like closer to Romulan space than the Federation or any of the other major polities in the Beta Quadrant.
No. The only question that Barnes would have would be, what is the most likely cataclysmic event to start prepping? But we'll be there fast enough that by the time I give the order to prep for it, we'll be there. So I'd like Barnes is gonna turn the others go. Are we all set to go? Give them a hand. Anybody got qualms?
During this whole, as soon as Nar heard the distress, he started to run his third diagnostic on the engines, just to be absolutely certain that we're going to be in good shape. He does at least 2 a day. This necessitates a third.
I hand you a piece of candy. It is one of those little grandma strawberry candies.
Werther's Originals.
Those are the backups, but those are for gold stars.
Okay.
This is actually Werther's Crystal. We're in the future.
Wow.
Werther's Originals make the jump over the centuries.
Even when the replicators won't make.
You mean you can't tell me they never tried a new Werther's, like New Coke?
How do you improve on those candies?
Wait. You don't. Anywho, we're bogged down in candy.
But yes, I'm going to make absolutely certain that our engines are in tip-top shape.
All right. So why don't you give me control and engineering? That will be a difficulty 1, because you're going to try and do a thorough yet quick evaluation of the engines, because you're about to push them to the limits, of course.
My focuses are power systems, warp field dynamics, all the engineering typical.
Yeah, so any of those, one of the things you'll find in the system when you generate your character, initially a lot of your focuses are going to sound similar, and so rather than like sort of the incremental growth that you see with class or level based systems, you can kind of tweak your character as you go. You could say, I want to branch my focuses out a little bit, but you have several focuses that are applicable. So yes, you should activate your focus before you do your dice roll.
I'll keep the one. I didn't click the focus. I'm not going to re-roll.
Oh.
I am doing a rapid diagnostic of the engines.
Okay. Well, you got the one success that you needed. So again, there's nothing wrong with that. The engines look to be in top shape. There was a little bit of stress all that nebular dust was clogging up the Bussard ram scoops. But you had your team working night and day for about the last 2 days to get that all cleaned up. So it looks like a quick run to New Sahara should not be a problem.
Kevin, I'm going to prepare the med bay for a lot more guests.
Excellent. I mean, that's terrible.
And see if I'm just going to assume hydration is going to be something we're going to care about. So I'm going to see if we can requisition some more water supplies down to the med bay as well.
Go on.
I'm going to go be a beleaguered doctor/nurse.
All right. Then I guess we're going to go.
Yes, we don't have a helmsman, so I'll just take care of that role off the screen. Make sure we don't crash into a star or anything on our way there.
Please. Please and thank you.
Like one shot.
I love saying stuff like that, just to get people
like roll for navigation. Nat failure. Oh.
This ain't like crop. This ain't like dusting crops, boy.
Good heavens, this is like Traveler, where you die during character generation.
Traveler shall not be mentioned. That's
we've done. No, dying during character create that can happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm terrified now.
No, you're intrigued. Come now.
We all survived.
Two things can be true.
That's true.
So seeing that everything is set and ready to go for what looks like it's probably going to be some kind of rescue mission, Barnes is going to go ask everyone to ready up for yellow alert.
Okay.
And
yellow alert. I have a button for that. We're at yellow alert, Captain. Thank
you, Doctor. And assuming that you all have been on the bridge while Barnes has ordered y'all to warp before you hear his weird catchphrase that he got from his great-grandfather, which is, all right, tally-ho. And we head off to New Sahara.
Okay, so your three-armed Adosian helmsman very deftly enters the course, and in a streak of light, the Griffin leaps to warp.
Hathaway is not convinced that tally-ho doesn't just mean the notches on your bedpost.
Two things can be true, Doctor.
I was thinking of a pimp's accountant, but same.
Three things can be true.
What?
Look, great granddad was a complicated man. Things were strange down on Earth back then.
All right. So while we are approaching at high warp the Earth system, that's OERTH, why don't we have our science officer give us an insight and science roll? And of course, because he's using the ship's scanners, the ship will assist with a sensors and science roll. I guess I should make sure we open up the ship's stats so we can see what that is. Everyone has access to the ship, yes? USS Griffin.
There it is.
Are my handouts there?
I see it down there. In the
Baby.
PDFs.
Yes, and starships in Modiphius are considered to always have an applicable focus, which means, my word, that's pretty much unviewable what is happening here. Okay. Is that not fitting in the window? Everyone can see it? You guys can see it? Though?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, we can.
Yes. So the computers are an 8.
Ooh, she pretty.
And the science is a 2. So a 2 or less on the ship's D20 will count as 2 successes, but the ship will successfully assist with a 10 or less. So I don't know if someone other than Jonesy wants to roll a 1d20 for the ship, so we can see that it's not part of Jonesy's pool, but it's the ship assisting.
I will do so. Just a straight task.
Yes.
Done. Wow, that was not good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know. Oh, I guess it would. Does it show you what the roll was?
If you hone in on it.
Okay, there it is. Yeah. So it was a 19. So almost a complication from the ship. It's never good when the ship is causing complications. So again, for those of us who are more traditional role-playing minded, where a 20 is really good and a 1 is really bad, Modifius flips the script on that, and a 1 is really good and the 20 is really bad. So
Looks like I got 3 though on my own.
yes, you did get 3 on your own.
Show off.
It's what I do. I'm the science guy.
Indeed. So what's confusing to you, Lieutenant Drayson, is that long range scans don't show anything unusual in the Earth system. You would imagine a planetary distress like the sun's about to go nova, or they're under attack by massive alien invasion. You're not picking up any unusual energy traces. You're not picking up massive energy discharge. You're not picking up debris as if a planet has been shattered. You're very confused as to what this planetary distress is about. So you only needed 1 success there. So you have generated 2 points of momentum. Do you wish to spend any of that for extra information?
Could I spend it once we arrive to do like a quick scan, like looking for anything like
Well, so what that would be then, you would bank it in the pool, as it were.
okay.
Okay, so we'll bank those 2 extra.
The reason my reason for thinking this is that it's obviously I'm not picking up anything external, like off world, but it could still be something on world. It could have been a major quake. It could have been something like
That's very true.
plague, you know, an outbreak. I mean,
Necromancer.
Jamadar, you know.
Okay.
So I basically knowing that we didn't see anything, you know, out external, like off planet, set off a red flag. I'm gonna look for immediate red flags once we get to the planet.
Do you tell us about the red flags?
I tell you, there's none. There's no sign of any activity as far as from the star itself. No gravitational anomalies. No any kind of no sign of hostiles coming up on the scanners. So obviously, whatever's happening is actually on the planet itself, not in the nearby orbit or affecting the system itself.
Okay.
Can I use one of those bank momentum, Kevin, to do a quick scan for the other planet to see if anything's going on with it? There's new Sierra and there was new
Siberia.
Yeah.
Yes. You wouldn't have to spend a point of momentum for that. Again, if that planet were missing, so it's I don't know what everyone's sort of military technology background is, but the way long range sensors work is kind of the way some of our long range, you know, modern Earth technology works. It's not so much that you're seeing the thing directly, but you're reading like
region,
what's there and what's not there. Like if that planet were destroyed, that
It's
would
essentially
throw
sonar.
off the gravity. You know, even if you're not close enough to scan it visually directly, like there would be signs. There's no indication that anything has happened to New Siberia either.
Okay, just clarifying that I make sure that you know.
Cool. This doesn't this doesn't feel suspicious at all. Barnes, not necessarily being genre aware, is going to say, well, obviously, like you said, it's something on the planet. To be safe, let's pull out a warp, like a planet, like a good distance away. We've got really good impulse control on this lovely ship, so we can just get in close and see what's going on. Approach with caution. Let's stay on yellow alert.
Okay. That's a good idea.
Streamlabs, you don't have to tell me every time somebody likes the post on Facebook. That's so loud.
Okay, so as you get closer, you can do another scan. If someone wants to roll a d20, 10 or less, for the ship itself to assist Lieutenant Drayson.
Not at this time. I botched it last time.
You almost botched it last time.
Just one d20
Yes.
is a 10.
Okay, so that is one assist from the ship.
And you want me to do the run of scans?
Yes, and you have applicable focuses, so you should.
Yeah, I got one success, so it's a total of 2 with the ship's assist.
Okay. So again, difficulty 1. Oh, so one of the things as we scene change, I didn't count like the getting the mission and flying here. So as you arrive in the Earth system, it's sort of a new scene, if you will. So the momentum pool bleeds 1, but you generated 1 extra. So we'll leave it where it is instead of drawing 1 out of the pool.
Let's work for you.
Yeah, whatever helps me get the roll 20 to do what I wanted to do, which sometimes need all the help I can get.
That's a very impressive trick for Kevin.
So now that you're closer, the scanners can give you more resolution. You're picking up short range comm traffic. You're picking up life signs on New Sahara. You're picking up the signatures of ships ascending and descending into the atmosphere. The planet's population is small. There's not a lot of stuff to be mined on New Sahara. The only real quote-unquote city is named New Cairo. It is in the northern latitudes. It's a little bit cooler. Yeah, you're not quite sure. Like the star emissions are normal. Both planets are here. You're kind of wondering what the heck is going on with this planetary distress call.
You said I see traffic coming and going from the
Yes.
Okay.
They seem to be civilian vessels of various makes.
So we're good in the med bay? We don't need more beds?
Not entirely sure. Is there a way?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, is there a way for us to locate the origin point of the distress call?
I was just asking if I could scan for the distress call.
Yeah, specifically,
Yes,
where did it come from?
It is coming from New Cairo. It is coming from the planetary starport. They have a transmitter tower there. It is still transmitting.
Suspicious. Quite suspicious.
Could be a malfunction.
Would they be picking us up on their sensors, on their planetary sensors?
Well, you did drop out a little early. And I know Star Wars fans are kind of used to the non-aligned characters having the fastest ships and the best equipment. But Star Trek is a little bit like, Somali pirates versus the US Navy. Like, you guys have the distinct advantage. So you're guessing they probably can't scan you yet. But you can scan them. So you can order the ship to approach, or you can try to do more from where you are.
I want to sit and gather some intel, talk to the rest of my crew about how to handle this. We can drop out a yellow alert. We don't seem to be in any imminent danger just yet, but in my bones, I don't like this. I don't like.
I'm putting us over to green, even though I'm sure that's not Hathaway's job.
Yes, you're multitasking. You're playing that NPC.
Gonna look at the rest of the crew, kind of ask. So, other than tracing the signal, what do we think our options here are?
We can send them a communication to get further information from them directly.
Mm-hmm.
It could be as simple as their beacon having a malfunction and going off when it's not meant to be going off.
Doctor?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we get close enough for them to see us, they'll at least ask what's up.
Makes
Or
sense.
if there's something else, or we can get more information as we get closer. In case there's some sort of mental issue going on, or some kind of disease that is.
My next thought would be, what if this was not sent by the people in charge? What if this was sent by dissenters or a rebel group that are trying to get aid because of something wrong, and this was a coded attempt for aid? I worry that showing up, sales astride, as it were, if this were meant to be a secret message, if it isn't a mistake, might do more harm than good.
Should we send an away shuttle? Just to send a few of us on a smaller vessel?
Probably. Covert mission. They know of the Federation already, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Is there a way for us to know, like, do we have routine visits? Are they is there a regular coming and going of Federation presence to these planets that we can use as an excuse to mask our presence?
Absolutely. The danger of the triangle is because it's nestled in between the Federation, the Romulans, and the Klingons, is neither of those three has a claim to the space. So it's sort of neutral territory, but of course, each one of those polities has starships in the triangle protecting their interests. So there are starships of all three that sort of make the rounds as the Griffin is doing. So it is not out of the ordinary for you to sort of show the flag if you want to be more bold, or as somebody suggested, you could take a shuttlecraft in to be more discreet. That's
what do we think about a hybrid of those crew? We do we just send a, hey, we are on routine something or other, hoping to come in to get supplies. We are sending a small shuttle, not our whole crew. That way they know we are coming in why, but not our true motives. Cover our asses, if it were.
Yeah, I think
the nature of the signal, I mean, it wasn't coded or encrypted. It was just a broadcast signal, correct?
It is, but it was not. It is a Federation emergency signal. It is not being broadcast in the open, as it were. So it, in a sense, it is coded.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we go in low key, and if we need to come in big, we can summon the ship.
It's like when someone at the retail stores trips the silent alarm for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the doors whoosh, open, and the captain strides onto the bridge.
Captain on the bridge.
So, what's going on?
We debrief him.
Okay. Excellent plan. I suspect those Klingon devils are behind the whole thing. You head up a mission to the planet and let me know when I need to come in photons are blazing, eh?
Sounds
You get the
about right,
sense
Captain.
that your captain doesn't get like the British Empire is not a thing anymore. Like, worry about him a little bit. Like he's a little too.
He's a little too much like great grandpa. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this might be your grandpa.
Look, great grandpa fought in World War III. He saw some stuff. War of the Superman did stuff to you. But yeah, no, wouldn't surprise me.
Making a note to check if the captain is a holodeck creature that has escaped.
It's much too early for holodeck creatures.
Making a
Listen
note to
now.
check on that in the future.
Although
Is
for you
this
continuity
Voyager?
buffs, the holodeck first appeared in the animated series in the early 70s. So
What is it with cool parts of science fiction settings showing up in weird random places?
They show up in places where it's cheaper to make them.
Like Boba Fett in the holiday special.
oh yes. Classic. That was the one part of it that wasn't absolutely horrible.
Hey, those those outfits were iconic.
Oh, all right. So Commander Barnes, and conveniently enough, a crew composed of the player characters will board a shuttle and head down to New Cairo.
Just
Oh,
us.
yeah.
Can we have some guy with us too, just in case?
Well, sure. Let's see. Who do we have that looks like they might not make it?
Lieutenant Caro, he's the one who intercepted the message. Let's bring him too, just in case.
But who will run the communications board while I'm down? All right, fine.
I'm just gonna yank.
Lieutenant Kano,
Lieutenant Crosby.
and because it's not a Star Trek episode unless a nameless security guy somehow dies on the mission. Lieutenant Falk of security will also accompany you on the
I was
mission.
gonna say, like, I'm just gonna yank some random ensign, like, hey, come here, extra credit.
I'll get my bag.
We're gonna learn you how to do an away mission.
Jace Kestrel describes it as red shirt ablative armor.
Well,
I don't know if he was here at the beginning, but everybody's wearing a red shirt. So
Oh, yeah. Yeah, everyone is in those very
The
Roman-esque maroon things.
Yes. Okay.
Mine has a weird red cross in the middle of it, though.
No, that's a crosshair. That's different.
Oh,
All right. So you really don't need. Piloting a shuttle in a non-stressful situation isn't something you need to roll for. We will bleed a point of momentum as the scene changes again. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to do it funky style. So do you want to roll for the pilot, or are you gonna just settle for a slightly small momentum pool?
I'm sorry, please repeat that last bit.
Do you want someone to roll for the again? Whenever there's a difficulty 0 task.
Oh
if
no,
you feel like
literally, I just did not hear the
well,
words you said.
Oh, I'm trying to remember exactly what
Spin momentum to get a success.
or what to attempt a task roll on a difficulty 0 task. It allows you the opportunity to generate momentum. So,
Gotcha.
but again, there's the risk of complication. So it's that sort of give and take of the mechanics. You could just say we landed and we're fine. A 4 is still a pretty decent momentum pool. I'm just sort of throwing it out there for those of you unfamiliar with the system, just trying to spotlight how the mechanics work. I mean, again,
I think we're good to just land.
Yeah.
Do we want to do any fancy flying? I would like, because I have a focus in starship recognition. Starship recognition. Since we are going into a spaceport, I want to look. Is the captain with us?
no.
Thank God. Okay, cool. So it just old, very giving old British. Don't want to, handlebar mustache vibes, and just a quick scan for very recognizable ships. Like, that's obviously Klingon, that's obviously Romulan, and it's something of import, not just, oh, that's a trade ship. Is like, why is there a battle cruiser here? Why is there a Klingon diplomat ship here? I don't have a lot of actual people knowledge, but I can recognize people by their rides, more or less.
Gotcha. Okay, so that will be making use of your insight or reason and science to scan for those. As you're approaching, you can see.
Could I say security rather than science, since this is kind of a threat assessment?
I'll buy that argument. Yes, and you have your focus that makes your critical success range extended.
All right. So
the shuttle doesn't have great stats. You can use the shuttle sensors to assist. So if someone wants to roll,
yeah, I would love a shuttle assist. Oh, hey,
sensors.
I may not need it though because I got 3 on my own.
Ooh, that's good. Again, if you don't want to, again, yes, it might help, or it might give you a complication. So we'll just say you did it without the ship's sensors. There
Yep.
are 8 hangars that sort of 4 to the north and 4 to the south of the landing area, and so that's the reason you needed 2 successes to sort of scan them. They're all sort of undercover. There's nothing out on the landing strip currently. There are 7 craft in the hangars, in the 8 hangars adjacent to the. So one of them is empty. 2 are of Earth manufacture. 4 are of non-aligned powers. There is a Romulan freighter and a Klingon bird of prey as well. You do read the transponders. The Argelius Trader, the Ripper, the Kitty Hawk, and the Clarion and the Twilight Explorer are either Earth vessels or non-aligned. The Emerald Dawn is the Romulan freighter, and the Tang is the bird of prey.
Jonesy wants to know how many craft again?
7.
How many craft or how many crates?
Both.
Same energy.
I'll worry about the non-aligned and the human ones later.
So
Romulan
there are 7 total craft.
craft. Hey, Zankir. You want a fun homework assignment? Can you run some stealthy please don't notice us scanning you scans on that Romulan freight and that bird of prey? Pretty please and thank you.
You want to somehow stealth our shuttle approach?
No, I want scans.
Oh, so that I can potentially do.
Stealthy
Now,
scans.
you said that they're in the hangars themselves. I mean,
Yes.
they've landed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then yes, I would very much like to do as much of a scan of their systems. Specifically, I want to check engine output, see if they are currently operating under peak efficiency, or are they basically sitting in a garage waiting to get work done.
Okay. So
Can I assist?
you can assist, yes. Now my question is, are you doing passive scanning to be surreptitious, or are you just flashlight in the eyes, license and registration, please, full bore scanning?
I will start off with a passive scan.
Okay. So because it's passive, that will raise the difficulty to 2 from 1. So you're going to use your insight or reason. You could actually use engineering since you're scanning their vessel function rather than, trying to hack their computer systems. I don't know if you have relevant. I know you have a lot of engineering focuses. And also because it's passive scanning, I need you to bump the complication range up to 2.
All right.
That means a 19 or 20 is going to be bad. Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All righty. Still rolling 2 dice.
Yes. Do you want to use the ship sensors to assist this time?
Yeah.
That would be the sensors. Now the shuttlecraft aren't nearly as beefed up as the starships. So you would need an 8 or less and a critical success of 2 or less for the whoever's rolling for the shuttlecraft to assist.
All right. Well, let's see what my roll comes out to be.
You got 3. We're doing pretty good. Hey.
That'll work.
Okay, so you
Needs a ship.
Yeah.
Hybrid
Kevin, I should probably point out one of my talents, the incisive scrutiny.
Okay.
Says I have a knack for finding weak spots in arguments, theories, and machines alike to glean information from them, learning things as they respond to pressure, vulnerable points. When I succeed at a task using control or insight, like this one, I get a bonus momentum, but I can only use it for obtain information. So seems appropriate. That
is appropriate, yes. And so that means you have a point of general momentum plus your bonus momentum that can only be used for further information. So what you scan from the Emerald Dawn and the Chitang, the Chitang is an older bird of prey, but it is still armed as if it were a Klingon warship. The Emerald Dawn is a freighter, at least as much as Romulans would use freighters. There's a lot of odd power signatures. It seems a little souped up for a civilian freighter. Because it's powered down, you're having difficulty scanning what those things might be. The Chitang is, well, not in as good a shape. You're getting odd, even powered down, you're getting some odd energy bleed that it's probably not got the best engineers in the Klingon Defense Force working on it. The Emerald Dawn is a very streamlined. Again, it's sort of like the Millennium Falcon in the Solo movie before it gets crashed. It's looking very sharp. It's looking very pristine. Yeah, it's maybe the spiffiest freighter you've ever seen.
There was a ship called the Ripper, right?
Yes.
As a doctor, I don't think that's a good one. Is it flown by Doom Guy? Like no, I'm good.
Realizing my talents haven't been filled in, so I don't know what they mean. I've got.
I'm sorry. The character sheets, they must have done an update since last year, so some of the stuff was lost, but your talents are in as a separate handout. If you go to the notes, I have your talent descriptions there.
Handouts. There we go. Cool.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that. But
Gotcha,
Tom, did
gotcha,
you want
gotcha.
to? You have that one bonus momentum that can only be spent for further information. Is there something?
Correct.
So you can basically phrase a question. Now, if I can't give you a decent, now I am allowed to fib to you if it's good for the story.
Oh,
If I can't, like, if your question doesn't really have an answer, I'm not the kind of guy who says, "Well, I'm going to take that momentum just because I can." Let me put your.
I've got.
So I think for my bonus question then, for the Romulan and Klingon ships, I would like to know their armament, their armaments. What can they basically do? I would like to know their shield strengths. I would like to know their maximum warp capacity. Any and all that information that I can get, I would like. Just to be on the safe side.
Yes, that would be easier to assess if the systems are active. One of the problems is they're in powered down mode. You are reading that the Klingon ship is armed, even inert. You would pick up photon torpedoes, disruptors of maybe 20 years ago. You really can't get an accurate guess on their power and speed output when their engines are down. You're going to guess that the Chitang is not going to be super fast just by the general shape of what you are getting in terms of readings. You think that the Emerald Dawn might be pretty quick, but it's hard
Tom,
to be specific when the engines are down.
Tom, would it be
Yeah.
possible to figure out how long they've been parked based on how cold the engines are?
That you could have assessed. Yes, that you could assess. You're guessing the Emerald Dawn has been here for probably 5 or 6 days. The Chitang for perhaps 2.
Okay. I will display all the information onto everyone's devices.
Okay, and just a general look as you're coming down. North of the starport appears to be the town itself. To the west of the starport looks like water, sewer, and power generation. But as you're approaching, you're hailed by the tower. Attention, unknown Federation shuttle.
Yep.
That will sort of give you landing. Again, you're a Federation Starfleet vessel, so they're not, telling you to shove off or anything like that. They will give you landing instructions. Ask if you require a hangar, or if you will simply be using the landing strip for a short visit.
All those other things are in the hangar, right?
Yes.
I want to get out of here fast if things go south. I say landing strip. What do you all feel?
Yeah, I think that's a smart decision.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I will radio back landing strip, please.
Okay. So they will give you directions, sort of set you down roughly in the middle of the landing strip. Again, everything, coming in with anti-grav. You don't need a long, it's not like an actual airplane. So you kind of set down in amongst the hangars. The ground crew sort of runs out with a little debarking ladder. I mean, of course, your shuttle has the stairs that flop down, but what do they know? Welcome to New Cairo. What brings you?
Just resupplying, getting off the ship. Little bit of short leave, basically.
His ground crew name tag says Holloway. So you see him and his techs are like, you need full sails recharged. You need more consumables in the shuttle. Are you good to go?
I'm gonna kind of turn over to Zankir.
I get the cue and I look at the gentleman going, no, our engines are absolutely fine. Please do not touch them.
Oh, okay, you got it.
I have everything exactly the way I want it.
Okay, good enough.
If you have some extra fuel cells, we'll take them, but we'll apply them later. Doc, we need anything that you can think of?
A little bit extra saline solution couldn't hurt.
Oh yeah, that might be a problem. I'm not sure what's going on. Apparently they're on back order for the salt ration. So
Salt ration?
yeah, it's a very dry, arid planet, so we got to make sure everybody keeps their salt levels up.
All right.
So, anything else weird going on around these parts?
I mean, there's always something a little weird, I mean, we're kind of in the middle of everything, but not really anybody sort of stopping. So we always see a lot of strange characters around here. There was a fight at Grimka's last night.
What's Grimka's? It sounds like a cool place.
Grimka's Saloon. She's a Klingon who settled here, and she's got one of the saloons in town. So
Oh well,
landing strip and saloons. That's what we do here in New Cairo.
that makes sense.
That sounds like a place
I guess
we should go.
might explain the bird of prey over in the hangar if they've got a Klingon bar here. Do you have a Romulan cafe or something too? We saw a Romulan freight over in the hangar as well.
No, nobody really trusts them. I'm not sure why they're here. They've been here like at least a week, which is weird. It's like a Vulcan that smiles. Like you just can't trust that, right? It's
They've
weird.
been talking to anybody, or you see them going around town doing anything weird?
I mean, I heard they've been sort of creeping. I didn't bump into any myself. I mean, I got the wife and kids at home. I don't spend a lot of time in the saloons, but as some of my crew talk, there's been some Romulans sort of asking a lot of weird questions, like how long the town's been here, and just weird questions.
Interesting. Thank you. We'll head to the bar.
Yeah, sounds like a plan to me.
Can we get you anything while we're there?
Oh, I shouldn't while I'm on duty, but hey, thanks. That Klingon stuff's a little rough.
Blood wine will do that. It's an acquired taste.
Indeed, it is. All right, so you head into the town. Almost due north of the water plant is Grimka's Saloon. In Standard and Klingon and several other languages, there are signs overhead. It's late afternoon, so it's pretty warm out. You didn't see a lot of people on the streets. And you'd swear as you're approaching, you heard something smash. But,
We've got Romulans and Klingons in the same place. Places are high. While we're on the way to, or as we're approaching, Barnes is going to be on high alert. I've got one of my values is the price of peace is vigilance, but I've got one of the talents is constantly watching. So I'm not necessarily on the lookout for people that are trying to rob us or mug us or jump us right away. Romulans deal in intel and secrecy, and Klingons deal first in threat assessment, and if you're not worth a threat, they won't go after you. So I'm looking for people that are following us or speaking candidly about us as we approach. I don't know how many languages Barnes can allegedly speak.
Yeah, it's with a universal translator, like the language barrier, unless it's done as a plot point for comedic effect, that typically doesn't become a real problem. So with determination, if a value of yours would apply, you can spend a point of determination. If you are willing to suggest a way in which a value may complicate your encounter, that can earn you a point of determination. You can have up to 3, and everybody gets 1 per session to start. So I don't know if you.
I think most comfortable in a crowd is something that could complicate it, because I feel at ease because I'm on an away mission. I'm with the people on the bridge that I trust, and I'm in a public space. And as someone that deals well in crowds as a social butterfly, because that's how he rose to where he is, that at war with the keeping his eye out might be a fun way to mesh those two. But maybe I'm thinking I should probably just roll for it. I don't think this is dire enough at this point.
Sure.
So would that be?
That would probably be insight, or maybe control.
I would say
and security.
Yeah, control and security, and
so it's the focus that determines whether you get an extended critical success range. Do you have any focuses that would be applicable?
The only one I can think of is Starfleet Protocol.
Sure, I'll buy that.
All right. No.
No, that sounded.
I got a 0 and a 1, but I think I got a crit fail. I got a crit fail and a 1.
Oh yes. So the fact that it's 0 and it's a different color tells me that's a complication. Okay. So you do get the feeling that you're being watched.
Wait.
Unfortunately.
Sorry. It's reduced the difficulty by 1. It doesn't fix the thing. Never mind.
Oh, no worries. So the problem is you're kind of trying to keep an eye on the person you think is following you. And so you're not really paying attention when you bump into a pair of Klingons exiting Grimka's saloon.
Oh, Jesus.
One side, Earth trash.
One side yourself.
Earth trash. I'm not even from Earth.
What's that really mild word for like fool?
Talk.
Yeah, that. I buff up so he can see the pips, and I say, one side yourself, Katak.
Oh.
Vigilance is the first path to valor.
I like it. It's been too long, and we haven't seen any blood spilt yet. All right. So the way combat works is...
Oh, God.
So it's a back and forth thing, unless, of course, you spend momentum to, quote-unquote, keep the initiative. Unless player characters are surprised, players start with the initiative. So any of you may choose to take action. These 2 Klingons were not very happy to be insulted in their native tongue by an Earthling, no less.
This usually works.
Their hackles are up. Their hackles are up. So unless you're going to, and if I was feeling in that mood, I could spend threat to seize control. But I will say it's normal circumstances. You aren't surprised. You can kind of see this coming based on the interaction between Commander Barnes and these 2 Klingon warriors. So whichever one of you wants to take their turn first, you may tell me what you want to do, and then we'll see what happens next.
Ooh, goodness.
I'm not getting involved.
Well, and again, if someone else goes first, so one of you will go, and then one of them will go, and then it will come back to you. It's sort of a back and forth kind of thing. And you can decide until the round's over if you're doing something or not. But that's just kind of where we're at right now. So does anyone care to take action?
I
mean, if you'll see the initiative, one of them will go.
Yeah, we're in our Star Trek uniforms, yes?
Yes.
Starfleet uniforms.
Yes.
Go get him, Owen.
Owen's going to realize the don't let them walk all over you approach that he thought was going to work obviously did not. Are these guys drunk or inebriated at all?
Give me a reason and security or medicine.
Can I do insight and security?
Sure.
Cool. Inspiration would work as a focus here, would it?
If you can describe to me how it would work as a focus, I can yay or nay it.
I don't think I can. I don't think I can.
You don't have to win them all.
Yes, I do.
I can't.
Hey.
I can't assist in helping to see if they're drunk, right?
I've got
Well,
two.
not really, because this is kind of his internal monologue, so that's a little.
I got two.
2 successes. Okay. You can smell the alcohol, but they're not weaving in any way that you might think they're not capable of being those kind of Klingons.
Cool. Barnes is going to immediately affect as drunk as he can be, so they think that he is not intentionally saying these things, and they just kind of wave him off as being drunk.
Okay. So you kind of bluff with your presence.
Figured that.
Presence and command.
Yep. This feels like an inspiration thing.
There you go.
Haha, I'm learning. I got 2.
Okay. With 2, you kind of seem to have convinced them that you're just another drunk Earthman. And so they just kind of sneer and spit and depart the saloon.
Keep up the act until they're out of the way, and then I keep my mouth shut while the rest of the crew and I head into the saloon.
Okay.
Is judging a free action? I'm judging.
It sure is.
What? That normally works.
Zero.
Look.
Difficulty 0.
I look at the doctor and I'd be like, you were that close from being needed. It was like, it was right there.
You know, eventually I'm gonna get to put somebody's arms back on.
Indeed you will. Indeed you will. So you enter. It is dark, dimly lit. You're not really sure how to describe the combination of odors assaulting your senses right now. But yeah, it's unique, that's for sure. The clientele are not exclusively Klingon, and there's not a lot. But yeah, and I do like that apparently heavy metal survives into the 23rd century in Klingon culture. So yeah, there's probably some heavy grinding guitar riff coming out of the music box. Of course, that's the only thing making noise as like a half dozen Klingons turn to stare at 4 Starfleet officers who just walked in the front door.
Keep my mouth shut.
I'm
Drunk lane.
going to go over to the bar.
There are 5 Klingons along the bar. There is a female Klingon behind the bar. If you've seen, Next Generation or Deep Space Nine or the Generations movie, those Klingon women are not shy. So she sort of leans a booted foot up onto the area behind the bar there. Well, well, well. Look what we have. Welcome to Grimka's. What can I get you to drink, if you dare?
I'll take whatever your best is.
I'll have what he's having.
So,
Do you have any milk?
milk? I'm afraid you are not going to find anything to your liking here. Earthbound. Milk.
I'm not from Earth. I'm from a colony.
You all look the same to her.
Never even been to Earth.
So she gets out 3 dirty glasses and pops the cork off of a smoky bottle, and she dumps in a dark red liquid.
Is that blood wine?
The smell, yeah, it's unique. She put those up, and then she kind of looks at Dr. Hathaway and says, "Unless you prefer milk from the tap, I'm afraid I can't help you." And the Klingon
Which
warriors sort of
tap?
howl.
Did you fail anatomy, doctor?
No, I'm just. Is that how Klingons work?
We work however we choose. That's what makes us Klingon.
Do I know if there's a customary, slante, cheers, hit on the bar thing to go with this particular drink?
Could you give me insight and science to see how your knowledge of
Can I add my
drinking customs is?
would history?
Yes,
Work here?
absolutely. Yes.
Cool.
She's offering the tap. I
Doesn't say
might
work
take her up
history.
on it.
2 successes?
2 successes.
Okay. So you know of a toast that probably won't get you stabbed by the other Klingons in the bar, because you've sort of appropriated a Klingon warrior toast, but you make a toast. Why don't you go ahead, if you're going to say it out loud, give me a daring, daring and command.
Can I add my inspiration focus, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm afeared. Ha! 3.
Okay. Well, I guess the good news is your momentum pool is now full. You can't take any more momentum. So it's capped out at 6.
Stuffed with momentum.
Yeah, and again, anyone in the group can sort of pull from that. So
I think we're waiting to use momentum for like actual combat.
yes, that's perfectly logical and cromulent. Okay. So a sort of look passes among the Klingons at your toast, and Grimka, she sort of leans over at Commander Barnes and says, "That was very artfully done, Earthling. You seem
Thank
to
you.
have a deep understanding of our culture."
Didn't come without lot of learning and a little bit of bleeding.
And yet you live. This speaks well for you.
Yeah. How do you keep what's sorry, words here. How does one continue to strive for honor if you can't continue to live, and not just live but thrive?
I mean, I don't want to take credit for Owen's continued existence, but
Oh, you definitely should. You definitely should, Doctor. Behind every successful warrior, there's a very rich doctor. Am I right?
you guys are getting paid?
Well, in societies with money.
Mm-hmm.
As this is going on, I'm going to try to keep an eye out on the other patrons in the bar, the non-Klingon patrons in the bar, to see if any of them are.
There's a trio.
Looking-
There's a trio of
looking-
Nausicaans in the corner at a table. They are also keeping an eye on you.
I'm probably better at being the distraction. So I put down the empty cup, and I'm like, quite good. I'd like another, please.
Well, hold on. Hold on a second. If you actually drank the blood wine, I'm going to go ahead and need you to give me a fitness and medicine test.
Oh,
I
okay.
I
Me too.
am Tellarite.
So that will lower your difficulty.
I mean, it even says I don't get drunk.
Well, it's not so much drunk that I'm worried about.
You
So
said
how do you
fitness
want
and
me to work
medicine?
this? I mean, I have a high tolerance to drugs, toxins, alcohols, all of that stuff.
Okay.
He does this shot, I will slide him mine that they poured out for me.
So what type of role would you like?
Well, it's basically it's the same type of role. I mean, for physical stuff, like fitness and medicine kind of makes the most sense. But because of your Tellarite metabolism, your difficulty is lower.
I
than
also
for
drank the
others.
blood wine. I also drank the blood wine.
Okay, well, let's have it then.
Can I do daring instead of fitness,
Hmm.
please?
Well, that
I'm
would be more to force yourself to drink it. Like this is more just your physical reaction to it.
Can I say that I'm using daring to not blanch at the incoming horrible taste?
Okay, I'll buy that.
Okay.
So what would you like, Kevin?
So For Commander Barnes, we'll go with daring and medicine. For everyone else who drank it, which I think is just you, Zank here, fitness and medicine at a lower difficulty. So it's a difficulty 2 for the commander and 1 for our engineer.
Can can I use a point of determination invoking most comfortable in a crowd? Please, I don't want to fail this.
Well, again, not you don't have to see that everything. And the one thing that I goofed up last year, because like when I ran this on stream last year, it was literally my first time running this. And for most things, you can spend momentum after the fact, but the one thing that has to be done up front
is determination.
Is building your dice pool. Yeah. So
okay. Can I use momentum?
Well, failing by 1 is not the end of the world. And of course, that pesky
Yeah, just stop drinking.
That pesky Tellerite generated a point of momentum. So here's the thing. You may spend 2 points of momentum, Commander Barnes, to not throw up, basically doing a scene edit. And then one of those can be replaced by Lieutenant Commander Nar's build back to the pool. So you can spend momentum for various minor things, and one of which is a scene edit. Like if you visibly blanch, but if you want to spend 2 momentum to not blow chunks, we can.
So to be clear, if I do nothing right now with this roll, my character is going to throw up.
Yeah.
How much momentum we got? We got a full pool, right?
Yeah, it's full.
Yeah, I'll expend 2.
And right, and so Tom can put 1 in because he got 1 more than he needed. So it's really not diminishing the pool by a great deal.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so you kind of do that little, but you keep your blood wine down. You do get a raised eyebrow and a smile from Grimka. She is impressed at your fortitude.
Do the really cheesy dad smile.
Yes. Okay, so we got Lieutenant Drayson is eyeballing the Nausicaans in the corner. Grimka and Barnes are interacting. Terry and Nar, are you doing anything specific or
I'm drinking.
Yeah, okay.
I'm up there with the bartender as well.
Okay. She kind of gives you a grudging nod, but you're not the first Tellerite she's ever met. She's not surprised that you're able to handle it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to decide if she's flirting with me by offering the tap.
Why don't you give me insight and science?
I could be a twink for a Klingon.
I'm thinking I'm going to be the distraction. If people are looking at me, then they're not looking at others looking at them.
Well, in this particular bar, your uniforms are kind of drawing a lot of attention.
Good.
Yeah, you said insight and science, Kevin?
Yeah.
Can I help?
Ooh, complication.
Can I please help this man?
She could very well be flirting with you.
Can I please?
Or she could be insulting you. You're not sure which.
Can I please help this man with like insult command? With
insult command.
Yeah,
insight and command. I said insight.
No,
you heard insult. Oh, I said insult.
So one of the things you can do as a commanding officer is you can attempt to provide assistance to someone with your control and command. Do you have any appropriate focuses?
I mean, inspiration might work.
Yeah, I would say not having him make inappropriate comments to an aggressive female.
How do I end up playing a bard every freaking time, no matter what I'm doing?
No, don't stop me, Cammy. I'm about to get taught by Grimka.
Shh. Hey, we're going to keep this a family-friendly stream. We ain't gonna have the letterbox edition.
Shush. This is me helping. You will get what you want, and we will get plot.
Excellent.
I have the advisor talent, which whenever I assist another character using the command discipline on my part, the character being assisted may re-roll 1d20.
Okay. Well. Okay. So did you roll yet?
Nope, but I got one. Well, I just
Okay.
did. I got one.
So here's where that comes in really handy. So Terry, you can re-roll that die that come up a natural 20 and maybe get rid of that complication before it becomes the problem.
Cool. How do I re-roll that? I just hit.
You're just going to roll one task die. So in other words, we're not gonna, the one success you already got is a-okay.
Okay.
You're going to hope that you don't get another complication.
And that's just insight I'm rolling now, right? Not insight and science.
Yes, you're always adding an attribute and discipline together.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes it's kind of a weird matchup, but you always want to have two numbers contributing to your difficulty number.
Okay.
Because remember, rolling low is good.
Yes. Here we go.
It's like golf.
Nothing. No penalty. 17 this time.
But right. So here's the thing: you didn't get a second success, but you got rid of that complication. Okay. So you were not about to get, we're not allowed to say the R word, but she might have took you up on your obliviousness. Yeah, you're pretty sure she might have been, hitting on you, and you don't know if you want to do that. You've heard disquieting things about Klingon mating rituals, and you're not sure that's how you want to spend.
and I'm a milk sipper.
Death by snoo snoo.
There's worse ways to die in space.
Where they can't hear you scream. Anywho.
Anyhow, so I don't want to get that. We shouldn't get into sort of a pissing contest over the drinks. Those of you who, Lieutenant Commander Nar, you can keep drinking to your Tellarite heart's content. You seem to be handled just fine. Anyone that hasn't consumed yet or is having trouble with that first taste, you may make another attempt if you're going to drink, or you may. I mean, they do have non-Klingon drinks here. Don't feel like blood, wine, or bust.
Yeah, but where's the fun in that?
Right.
I am not a blood wine kind of guy. They have a nice Cabernet Sauvignon. I'm here.
Cab Sauv, really?
I'm afraid Saurian brandy is as light as I go. She pours out some amber liquid in a different cup and passes it to Dr. Hathaway.
I will tip my glass and give it a sniffed.
Yes. It's good. It's potent, but it's not, knock you in your ass potent. Maybe the grime on the glass is grosser than the liquor itself. But hey, alcohol kills germs, so you're probably safe.
I'm a doctor. That's how that works.
Barnes is gonna take a look over at Bob, the science officer, and realize he's doing his little scan thing, and I'd like using my constantly watching value to also scan to, who is he looking at, and are they a danger to us specifically?
Okay, so you see he's watching the only other people. So you've got the 5 Klingons at the bar. You got your little Starfleet group of 4, I assume still at the bar, unless you're moving to a table. And then there is a table off in the corner where there are 3 Nausicaans who are speaking in low voices. You probably won't be able to make them out over the noise of the 5 Klingons unless you move closer to them.
Oh, sorry. I just looked up what Nausicaans look like. It's been a minute. Ooh, jump scare.
Yeah.
I think I want to stay near to the bartender. I'm going to very loudly order. We'll ask the science officer to go find us a table. So, hey, what's your character's last name, Bob?
Drayson.
Go find us a place a little bit less conspicuous to sit. I'm gonna chat with our lovely bartender here for a moment more, and I'll come join you. And I'm gonna kind of absently gesture in the area towards the Nausicaans so that he can position himself closer without raising suspicion. Also gonna say, hey Doc, why don't you go keep him company?
You got it, Cap.
right.
Don't
So the
let
two-
the actual captain hear you call me that. Damn it.
the two that are headed for the table, why don't you give me insight and security?
Can I assist?
Because you're still at the bar, no. I mean,
Okay.
I guess if you want to roll your command thing to try and assist them, you could do that.
Okay, I'll do that. So that would be control command.
Yes.
And I've got Starfleet Protocol as a focus to
Okay.
help there, or Team Dynamics. One.
So, I guess I
One.
got a question about the nature of the role that we're making.
Uh-huh.
Is this to position ourselves so we can hear people, not hear people, have our backs covered?
Your read of the group of Nausicaans as you move to a table closer to them. So this is sort of your
The vibe check.
ear to the ground kind of check.
I guess my question is with xenobiology and knowing stuff about Nausicaans give me a
Yes.
focus on that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I was asking.
No,
Sorry.
that's an excellent question. And again, the game is kind of designed for a lot of back and forth between the players and the GM to sort of determine that kind of.
I guess I should have asked about psychiatry too.
Well, that would have also been about.
Apparently, I'm a psychiatrist.
Good.
Yeah, so
You can get me my space Cymbalta. Sorry, Space Deluxe Attain. They won't let us say brand names.
Right. The replicator only
Alright.
makes generics.
All right, so we got 1 success for Dr. Hathaway, 2 successes for Jonesy, and we did have a successful assist from the first officer. So that puts Dr. Hathaway at 2 successes and Lieutenant Drayson at 3 successes. Okay, so that means with the so there's 1 out of the momentum pool. So with the 3 momentum, and you guys can decide to spend all 3 on more information. You both get a sense that there's sort of a tension in the group as you approach the table that's near them. You hear the volume of their conversation drops off, and 2 of them can kind of side eye you, maybe on the down low, but the one guy with his back to you, like clearly is looking over his shoulder as you approach. So you have 3 momentum generated. If you want to spend any for extra information, you can only bank 1 of those. So I would suggest spending 2 with whatever questions you might have.
Can I tell with the momentum that they are very much concerned about us overhearing information that they're giving to each other? Because
yes,
we're with
I would say
Starfleet.
you are pretty much absolutely certain that they are not happy with your approach. And yeah, they are not your friends. They are very definitely tense at your approach.
Jonesy, do you have a question you want to use one of the momentums for?
I do. My question is going to be, can we see how well they are armed?
They appear to have older model disruptors and bladed weapons.
Fun.
Also, Ward Maximus says blood wine or bust is a bumper sticker for Trekkies.
Yes.
Well, Drayson, what do you think? You think we should still take this seat, or you think they're gonna jump us? Okay. I'm gonna sit on the farthest end of the table away from them.
Okay. So there are plenty of empty tables. How close to the Nausicaans are you planting yourselves? And I assume you're banking that last unspent point of momentum, so you have max pool of 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I would like to get close enough that we have a little bit of, obviously we can overhear them a little bit, but also have a little bit of space, because I'd like when I go to sit down, I want to sit down in a position so I can slip out my tricorder without them being able to, hey, what you doing?
Okay. So not
What you
right
got
next
there?
to them, but close enough that you can hear their conversation. All right. So you two have settled down. What's happening up at the bar? Anything?
I'm trying to keep everyone's attention on me if possible. I'm going to be a little louder than I probably normally am.
Okay.
Not obnoxiously so, but just I want everyone to be focusing their attention on me so that
Okay.
other people can do their. Basically, I want to sort of inadvertently give everyone a little boost on their covert actions.
Okay. So just because everybody's kind of on edge, we're going to say this is a difficulty 2 task.
Okay.
So you're going to use your presence or daring, depending on how you want to spin it, and command to sort of become that guy in the room. So, and the reason, like, you should usually sort of tell people up front the difficulty so you can decide, do you want to buy extra dice? I mean, if you have a good daring or presence and command and an applicable focus, you might say, screw it, I'm good. But if you're like, I really kind of want to make sure I pull this off. So your dice pool is capped at 5. Okay, so your standard tasks are 2. You can buy up to 3 extra dice using momentum or threat.
I would like 2 dice. I would like 2 dice from the momentum pool if everyone is okay with that. I sort of have an opposite focus because I have a focus for composure.
Okay.
So I practically I know what I ought to be doing, and I'm just going to intentionally do the opposite.
Good
Okay.
spin.
Okay, I like it. So
I'm
and the way it
rolling.
works, your
you,
momentum
Kazo.
bonus dice have an escalating cost. So it's 1 momentum for the first bonus die and 2 momentum for the second bonus die. So it'll cost a total of 3. But again, Jace Kestrel said it best from his experience with another one of his group. In the Modiphius system, you have to spend momentum to earn momentum. So sometimes it's okay.
Then I'll spend 3 momentum. I'll throw in 2 extra dice. My complication is 2, not 1.
What I would
Yeah.
say complication 1 is fine for this.
Okay. 4.
4 successes.
Which is
Okay.
impressive since I only had an 11 to work with.
It is, but that's 2 more than you needed. Okay,
so then I'll put the 2 back in momentum.
Okay, see, that works. So you spent 3, but you put 2 back in, so you've got a momentum pool that is still at 5.
But yes, the Tellarite is now officially that guy at the bar.
Indeed, he is.
Awesome.
The Klingons, and again, you're obviously not, even if you're in a Starfleet uniform, you're not someone from Earth. So they're a little curious about you. Like, you're wearing the uniform of the enemy, but you don't look like those guys. You obviously can handle your liquor. So you kind of find yourself, yes, the center of attention over there. And while everyone is kind of distracted by that, you can even see that the Nausicaans are kind of a little bit like, what's happening over there? While these 2 humans are creeping up closer. The Doc.
No attention to the humans.
The Doc and Lieutenant Drayson, why don't you go ahead and, since you're at the table, give me insight and security to see if you overhear a conversation at that table 2 spots over.
Can I use my counseling focus because I'm used to people not speaking up when I'm trying to hear them?
You know what? I'll buy that.
Here, have some BS, Kevin.
I'm here for it.
1 success. And stop mumbling, Nausicaans.
Okay, so you both got 1 success. So, again, with Lieutenant Commander Nar sort of drawing a lot of attention to the bar, you hear one of them that's sort of like, again, there's the one Nausicaan with his back to you. The guy off to his left says something about maybe Decius will pay for this. And you see they kind of share a look, and then the 3 Nausicaans get up and start heading for the front door.
But wait, Who's Decius?
So you guys that are still at the bar, you don't have to roll to see. The Nausicaans get up and they're moving towards the door.
Okay. I was hoping while uh, Nar was becoming that guy that I could be talking with the bartender.
Sure.
I'm going to go ahead and actively just use serving Starfleet as a family tradition, as a value. Klingons are very big on honor, tradition, and serving and things like that. And so in a hushed tone, gonna kind of use, I would like to, with your permission, spend a determination along those lines to kind of lean and go, you seem like a very honorable woman. Running this kind of establishment takes a different kind of integrity than just working on a battlefield. We are here because we suspect something is amiss, but we are not sure. And following the traditions of my family and of Starfleet, we are here just to double check. Is there anything amiss with either the Romulans or those Nausicaans or anyone that you can think of here that they would extend an arm for aid outside of the planet? I'm not going to say that we received a distress call.
Okay.
But I'm alluding to the fact that, hey, something came up and came onto our scanners that seemed really off, and we can't find it. You, as someone that lives here and works here, and who is an honorable person, can understand the duty of, I'm honor bound by family and by duty to investigate. Could you, as one dutiful person to another, give me a clue, give me a step or a breadcrumb so that we could find what is wrong here that we couldn't just easily identify?
Okay. So I will accept your use of the value. So that let you spend your point of determination. You're not going to roll for it because your determination point comes up with an automatic 1. Okay. So it's a difficulty 2 task. So your determination point alone will give you the successes you need. Of course, you do still have to roll your other 2D because there's a chance for complications. And in this system, I know for most of my gaming history, like it's kind of a pass fail thing. You either succeed or you don't. In the Modiphius system, I like that you can succeed and succeed a lot, yet still have something screw up the whole thing because complications happen. So I guess knowing you're going to succeed already and knowing your momentum pool is full, I assume you don't want to buy any more momentum?
No.
Okay. So you're going to roll your 2d20 for task.
Okay.
You have an applicable focus.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to go ahead and do that roll, knowing you've already got what you need. You can only go up from there.
All right. Would this be daring and command?
It would definitely be command. I would say, and I like your approach. You're sort of appealing to her Klingon sense of honor. I would say daring or presence, because it's sort of those charisma type skills.
This feels daring. This feels like a risk. This feels more risky,
and you
risk
are
driven.
correct.
So daring command plus inspiration or history, whichever value. So roll, and I've got 2.
Okay.
2 ones.
So you have
specifically.
and no complication. Wait. Oh, that's 2.
Okay, I got 2 successes, no complications or criticals.
Gotcha. All right, so we have 2 points of momentum kind of hanging out. Again, there's room for 1 in the pool, but you can decide that later. So first, I'll give you what your successes got you, and then you can decide if you want to spend momentum for any other things. So she kind of drops her voice, and she's been kind of that husky, sultry, aggressive Klingon woman. She's a little more serious now than in her previous barkeep persona, and she's kind of looking at the Klingons down the bar and the Nausicaans as they're heading out. Says, in the last 2 weeks, there have been 10 people turn up missing. The rumor is bodies were found, but no one's saying what happened. Now, I don't want to seem prejudiced, but it is kind of convenient that the people started dying mysteriously within 3 days of that Romulan freighter's arrival. And what are they doing here? I don't know. There's Romulans peeping around over town. There's not a lot of them on the planet, but they're very busy. And I don't trust those jackrabbits to not be up to no good at all. Apparently, the
Understood.
supply lockers have been raided as well. Are they connected? I don't know.
Okay.
So
Since
you
we're
have
only
2 points of momentum. If you have specific questions that you want to
got one,
trigger with those, you can spend. You can draw from the pool as well. I'm just saying you have two immediate momentum.
I'm gonna use the one that I've got right now, and kind of prod a little bit more, going, is this the kind of thing that someone would call world breaking? Or what? How, I don't know how to phrase this properly. I'm trying to figure out if she thinks that the disappearances are a large enough threat that someone would have messaged Starfleet.
I
Or
guess that
does she-
depends on the nature of the disappearances. I don't know enough to say what's going on, but that's a lot of people to disappear. I mean, this is the kind of out of the way place where you see a fair amount of violence, but not a large number of people just disappearing. There's nothing significant enough on this planet worth killing a bunch of people over. So I don't know why it's going on.
I gotcha. Hopefully I don't have to roll for this question. Could you point us in the direction of the investigator's office or whoever is in charge of overseeing these so that we could check in or lend a hand if they wanted?
Yes, the local government office is about 6 blocks north of here. The planetary government complex is further to the west on the edge of town. But you should probably check with local government for law enforcement matters and those sorts of things.
Gotcha. And just to refresh our memories, where did we track the signal to in town?
The signal was coming from the starport. Like they have a transmission tower there. So it was coming from the starport. But is that? I mean, that's where the broadcast was coming from.
Yeah, but that could have been a button anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I thank her. They don't have. Is this a money trade system?
It's one of those weird, like original series. Several times Kirk told crew to earn their pay. I would assume it's a moneyless system, but not, or maybe a physical money. Like I assume you have credits that you can trade for on non-aligned planets.
Yeah, so, this feels like non-aligned. So I'll pay. I'll leave a generous tip. As a thank you for dealing with us and for answering our questions. And then I'll quickly get up and walk out to try to figure out which direction the Nausicaans went, because I didn't hear any of their conversation.
Okay. So those of you at the bar, unless you were intentionally well, I guess Nar is kind of being loud on purpose to distract everybody. Lieutenant Drayson, you were over at the table. So I don't know, Nar, would you have made any effort to overhear the bartender and Commander Barnes?
No.
Okay. All right. So you witness a conversation, but you're busy keeping everybody distracted. So Commander Barnes kind of finishes it. You see he leaves a fairly healthy tip there on the table, and it looks like he is headed for the front door. The rest of you Starfleet officers, I mean, I guess see that he's telegraphing a move. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm doing that very obvious. I'm going to go stand out front of the restaurant and wait for the rest of my friends to be done. Kind of thing. It's like, okay, stop flirting with the jackass in the corner. We got to get in the Uber.
Yeah, I'm happy to follow along.
Okay. Drayson and Nar, you kind of exiting as well?
I'll probably be the last one out, but yeah.
Can I leave like some kind of communicator with Grimweld. What's her name again?
Grimka.
Grimka.
I'm assuming you have like communicative frequencies the way we have phone numbers. You can give her a frequency to contact you on.
Yeah. I'll.
And you impressed her enough that she will give you that same information in exchange. So you have each other's numbers, as it were.
Wonderful. Hey, flirting with the doctor, got the lieutenant's officer. Just if we see anything shisty, I'll let her know that we'll keep her in the loop if we see anything odd. If she could do us the same courtesy.
Will do. It's not good for business. People turn up missing.
Nope, certainly not. If we come across any decent contraband, we'll see about helping her expand her merchandise.
Okay.
So when I get outside, I'm going to take a quick look around to see if anyone, is blatantly just hanging out front, and
Okay.
if there's not anyone blatantly looking around, basically I want to pull out my tricorder and scan for any kind of communication signals, anything odd, out of the ordinary.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and give me your insight and security? Or, I mean, since you're using a tricorder, you could, again, sometimes the tools you use, you could argue using science instead of security as the science officer, if that's better for you, since you're specifically scanning, not just looking.
Well, I was more importantly, it's basically a glance around. I just want to make sure that I'm not I don't want to go outside and go, oh look, there's 10 Klingons. Let me rip out my tricorder, kind of thing. It's more of a, if there's no one around, I want to scan for, and like I said, any kind of unusual signature, communications going on, any kind of signals, anyone trying to get a hold of, like trying to subtly get a hold of us, or any of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Can I assist more or less by just kind of taking up space in front of him, like stretching and whatnot, like just making myself a large physical presence in front of him?
So, in other words, using your control and command to create a distraction or a shield for him.
Yeah. I'll take control. I was going to say presence, but I'll let you give me command. I'm better at that.
Okay. And again, when you're assisting someone, you don't have to be rolling the same things. It's all in how you build, like you describe your actions and then attributes and disciplines that make sense.
Awesome. And since I'm assisting with command, the difficulty, where'd that go? Haha, advisor. You are able to re-roll one of your D20 as long as I'm using command to assist you. So regardless of what happens, you get to re-roll.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I got 2 successes.
Very good. I guess technically 3 with the
assist
from the commander. You don't see anybody. I mean, when you step out and it's hot enough, it's a hot enough part of the day that there's not a lot of people out right now, but the 1 or 2 people passing in front of the Klingon saloon, seeing 4 Starfleet officers exit, you're getting weird looks, but nobody's like staring at you. You don't see anyone like ducking behind a bush, whispering into a communicator. Nothing like super suspicious about all that. You do see that scattered in amongst the buildings, it looks like some older stone structures that appear to be monuments of some type. And so, Jonesy, you would have 2 momentum if you want to spend any of that for extra information. Or
I would. I'd like to know about the extra information. If those monuments look like they could be Vulcan or Romulan in nature.
It's not Vulcan or Romulan. It is a type of ruin that you vaguely think you've seen before in your studies. Like, it's not like, there's a familiarity to the geometry of the artifacts.
Can I assist in examining the monument?
Well, that was sort of a momentum spend, so it's not like he's doing another examination of it.
Well, I would like to wait for the rest of the team to get outside.
Yeah, I'm following along behind you guys.
Yeah, so they'll be out shortly as Lieutenant Drayson is finishing up his tricorder scan.
It does appear that this outpost was built on the ruins of a previous outpost. You can tell by those and I point to those outcroppings there, and there. I wonder if that's what got the attention of the Nausicaans and the Romans.
Well, you were saying?
I was gonna say, I'm wondering if it was something older or was hidden here or stashed here at one point.
Well, the thing I'm worried about is they've apparently been dealing with a lot of missing people recently. And 10 missing people in less than a fortnight seems like something that would constitute an emergency, but no one here I don't get the feeling that anyone here is aware that that signal was sent. At least no one here, so we should probably head either to the local government center or to planetary government.
That makes sense to me.
Okay. So local or planetary?
I was told to start with local. What do we all think?
I think that makes sense.
Chain of command and all that. Off to the local people.
Okay, this is probably a good spot to take our break. If you're okay
Wonderful.
with that, Alex?
Yeah, we're good for that.
Yeah.
All right,
Yay,
folks.
breaks.
So the mystery thickens, and what are we going to find here in the city of New Cairo? I don't know. I'm just the GM. Come back and see us in a couple minutes.
You're in charge, Kevin.
Okay, yeah, I'm in
I thought
charge.
you were supposed to know these
I
things.
forgot that part.
Oh, good. We'll be back in just a few minutes, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you for bearing with us while we ran off to our quick break. We are back and ready to figure out what the hell is going on here on New Sahara.
Yeah, that's the strangest thing. I mean, we've had so many opportunities for fighting, but this intrepid Starfleet crew is staying focused on the investigation. So they've come to New Cairo, the capital city of New Sahara. There appears to be some mysterious deaths going on. We still haven't figured out what the planetary distress call was about, but our landing party is headed for the local government office, and maybe they'll get some answers there. Okay. So I mean, it's got the whole placard out front. You know, I'm sorry, you're headed to the look. So Cairo government building. I took a photon torpedo.
It's okay.
And so I mean, it's a public building. It's daytime, so you can walk right up and you enter the building. You see there is a directory. It's of course it's a very hot planet, so it's nice and climate controlled in here.
Yes.
The Grimka Saloon was climate controlled for Klingons, of course.
And they like it
So
warm.
this is much more comfortable to all of you as you sort of enter. And some kind of administrative assistant approaches your group. Again, your uniforms are very distinct. So, you've arrived. She can see that you're sweaty. I assumed you would have just beamed right down. My name is Celia. I am the governor's assistant. Please follow me.
Yes.
Okay.
We decided to take a scenic route. You speak as if you were expecting us.
Yes, we were expecting you to have arrived a few hours ago, actually. According to our best estimates, you should have been here sooner. But I see maybe you've already started investigating. So, if you'll follow me, please.
Okay.
So we'll take you over to a sort of glassed-in turbo lift. You go up to the top floor, and she takes you into Governor Howard's office. Governor, the Starfleet response team is here. Like, when did you get here? Why didn't you call?
We arrived. Insert time estimate that it's been like what, a couple hours?
Yeah, you probably been on planet about 2 hours at this point.
We arrived about 2 hours ago. Our preliminary scans did not initially show any cataclysmic issues on a planetary wide scale, so we did a little bit of old, nose to the grindstone, beaten path kind of gumshoe investigation before we got here.
We went to a bar.
But we got answers.
I could have given you answers if you were called. Yeah. So I'm sorry about the planetary distress beacon. Our long range transmitter is down, and so I didn't want Klingons or Romulans to come running. So I used the best method I knew to bring a Starfleet vessel here. Sorry if I overstated the problem, but we've got some people disappearing. Some of them have turned up dead.
So we've heard.
Celia, get the officers some water, please, and either beverages that you have in mind. She can bring that as well. She's giving him like odd looks. Like you kind of saw her react when you said about the planetary distress signal. Like what? But so she kind of exits. Please sit down. God, you look grimy. Where you? What are you doing? You crawling around the starport? I'm sorry, you did say you were at a bar. You did say. My mistake. You
Yeah,
went to a
go
I
bar.
ahead.
said bar. I mean, I have alcohol, you know, with, I'm almost certain of it. I've been
Well, his
drinking.
desk is not that close to the seating areas. You might not smell it.
Hmm.
You
Uh,
know those. You know those governor types. They always
I'm gonna slide a look to Grayson.
Drayson. With a D.
Drayson.
Tracy.
Drayson. Rhymes with
Drayson.
Grayson.
There we go. Drayson. Um,
He could be Rick
long
Drayson. Oh,
long range comms down. Does it that? I'm not much of a science guy here, Drayson. That's typically a pretty easily fixable thing, right?
Well, depends on the nature of the malfunction.
Oh yeah, that's fair. So not to be too succinct, but what's your malfunction when it comes to the
I don't know. We not a lot of technical people settle here on New Sahara. It's a mining colony that's largely played out. If it wasn't in the middle of the triangle, there would probably be nobody here at all. But so again, we have some occasional violence. I mean, spacers are a rough and tumble lot, and you add a hot planet and alcohol, and the constables are very busy with minor things.
Mhm.
But in the last 12 days, 10 people have disappeared, 8 bodies have turned up. Um,
Okay. Uh, do you have a list of names, occupations? Are there any leads, any motives?
this would go back. Let me call the constable. He presses a button on his desk. Stringer, get up to my office, quick. The Starfleet officers are here. So before the constable shows up, his assistant comes back with a tray full of cool drinks, waters and teas and other things. You see a guy come in a constable's uniform, sort of comes sauntering in. Give me insight and security, difficulty 1. Everybody can just roll their own.
Is this regarding danger at all?
This is kind of your read of the constable as he comes in the room.
No. I got 2 successes and a complication.
That's the way we like it. So it looks like everybody. Did everybody get 2 successes?
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. Oh no. The doc got 1. Everyone else.
I got 2, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I scroll too far up?
Mhm.
Terry's got 2.
Yeah, everybody got 2.
Goodness gracious. Everybody got 2.
We're so clued in.
That complication. Well, I don't feel like complicating this scene, so I'm just going to buy your complication and by giving myself 2 more threat.
Oh, no, I don't like that. No.
I'd rather have a complicated conversation.
Not enough.
Please. Just let the
All right.
bard.
All right, so you all get sort of a hostile vibe off of the constable. He doesn't look happy to see you. He doesn't look happy to see the governor. Since there are 4 momentum generated and there's only 1 open spot in the pool, if you have questions you want to answer or ask, you may do so. I would assume we're going to fill the pool up.
I have one question if someone else does not.
Go for it.
I want to hone in on the assistant. She seems to be involuntarily very forthcoming with her reactions. She seems, for someone that works as closely with the person in charge, she seems very out of the loop. And to me, this means that anyone outside or below that security level is also going to be kind of out of the same loop. So what is her read on this whole situation? Does she seem to think it's as big a deal as...
She seems very concerned by it. And you would guess as an administrator type, she would recognize that using the planetary distress signal was probably a significant amount of overkill. She might even be concerned that that could lead to, further blowback, and from a diplomatic standpoint, like, it's kind of like calling 911 because
Stubbed your toe.
you lost your car keys or something, yeah, or stubbed your toe, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it just you see, she looks rattled that she didn't realize he went to that extent to get a Starfleet vessel here.
Okay. Okay, cool. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, so we spent one, we banked one. There are 2 more pieces of momentum out there. If anyone has any other information buys, if they would like.
Can I?
How I mean, I'm assuming they're going to give us this info anyway, but how long have the bodies and the disappearances been going on?
12 days.
12 days,
Mm-hmm.
10 disappearances.
Okay.
8
and
bodies.
Of those 10, 8 bodies have surfaced.
Okay.
So
That's a lot of bodies.
right.
So, Constable Stringer, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just last momentum is the constable's hostility. Is it the I've got better things to do hostility, or the I'm shisty and would rather not be here to keep my cover hostility?
You don't know well enough to read specifics. It could be something as basic as the constable, he feels this is his problem, and calling you in is basically disrespecting his authority.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. I got that. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. So he says, yeah, so of the 12 missing persons, all are human.
Okay.
Not all from Earth, all are human. 2 are native. The other 10 missing persons are off-worlders. They all happened along the northern edge of town. Most of them close to high traffic areas. The furthest east, we found several bodies near the Oasis. That's a transient housing for the freighter crews who don't want to sleep in the same ship they spend most of their lives in. There's a Bolivian who runs a restaurant tavern called Ablert's. A couple of the bodies were found over by the Fallon House, and another couple were found by the planetary government complex.
Have they detected any residual transporter activity?
No, but our scanners really aren't all that sophisticated. And unfortunately, the ones that are dead, the murders seem to be happening at night. And by the time the bodies are found, the local wildlife has sort of dined on them. And so, I mean, we have the 8 corpses down in the morgue.
Have we determined the cause of death yet?
We haven't been able to figure that out. And again,
Hey, Doc.
there's no obvious signs of blunt force trauma. There's no obvious energy burns, as if they were, shot with an energy weapon or a projectile weapon.
I'll be the judge of that.
I mean, right? It's weird. Again, because the bodies are carrying food. We may be missing clues there because we're not finding the bodies.
We'll figure it out.
Hours later.
That'll all be fine.
Fact, it's been several of the bodies we found because there were, once the sun comes up, the insects that are eating at night tend to go away, and the birds tend to flock to the corpses, and so the desert ravens are kind of leading us to the bodies, as it were.
Interesting. We'll restore that for later. So we'll definitely want to check these out in the morgue, figure out what's going on, see if we can determine a cause of death. You said that you found some of these near a housing facility for freight workers.
The Oasis is
the
a
Oasis.
transient housing facility. Again, a lot of the spacers if they're
What-
here for any length of time, they spend most of their lives crammed into their freighters, and so they rent rooms temporarily.
You know if the Romulans from that freighter that's in the hangar have rooms there?
I don't think so, and that's another issue. Like the Romulans show up and this starts happening. I mean, I hate to
That's
sound
too
like
easy.
that guy, but yeah,
That's too easy. If the Romulans were doing this, we wouldn't know about it until they left.
okay, good point.
You know, this is this is something else. Doc, I think the best lead we're gonna get is if you can get a read on anything that might have killed them, and then
Yeah, I'm gonna go do my thing.
Nar, we're probably gonna need your expertise on the different ships. Figure out the bird of prey is really messed up, right?
Yeah, the bird of prey is not in good shape.
All right. Who does that belong? So I'm gonna pose this to the guy in charge. Do you know who that sadly accosted bird of prey happens to belong to?
Yes, that is a Klingon named. Wait, while I look at my notes.
That's a weird Klingon name.
That is a weird Klingon name.
Polish.
I have too many notes.
Orthodox.
Yes, a Klingon. He claims he's a merchant and mercenary named Captain Kurgan.
Kurgan?
Kurgan. They tend to flock around Grimka's saloon. I don't know if it's the smell of
There's a Kurgan in lower decks.
Is there really?
Yeah, there is
I've
a
only seen the first 2 seasons of that, but it's good stuff.
there is a Klingon ambassador who used to be a bounty hunter, merchant, and mercenary named Kurgan.
Is he really old?
Huh?
Is he really old?
50s,
Oh,
middle age.
saying it could be the same character. I don't know.
Who knows?
Maybe it's his grandfather. Who knows? Maybe there's a connection. That's what I said. Like there is so much to see. Like I can't even begin to catch up on it all.
So much
I've seen and enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Lower Decks, but yeah.
So you said that Kurgan went to Grunka's, or
I assume. I mean, that's where the Klingons tend to go.
okay, we'll keep an eye out for him. Ed, I think it's down to my science and my medical officers at this point.
Let's go inspect
Okay.
the bodies.
Well, let's go to the morgue and.
That's my
Hey
favorite
kids, want to
part.
see a dead body?
I like
All right.
to touch it with my salad fingers.
Oh, not salad fingers.
Oh.
It's better than old Greg.
That's true.
So it looks like the morgue could store up to 20 bodies. Only 8 of the units are currently greenlit as being active.
That is not a goal, please.
He will pull the handle on one and slide it out, and you can see most, like this, the skull isn't exposed, but most of the face looks to have been consumed by local insect life, and there are probably some, like the eyes have been pecked out, and there are marks where birds might have. He said, to the best of my ability, and again, we don't have, Dr. Spencer was not able to determine, like, to her best guess, this damage was done after they were dead, as the local carrion eaters were sort of having their way with the body. She was not able to determine what the cause of death was. She told me there was no signs of blunt force trauma or energy burn, as if they were shot, or stab trauma that she could determine.
Well, let me take a look.
Okay. All right. So insight or reason, and science or medicine.
Ooh, insight and medicine. I'm very good at this. And I have focuses in emergency medicine, infectious disease, triage, xenobiology, if any of those you think would be relevant.
I think emergency medicine will probably qualify.
Do you have a tricorder?
I do have a tricorder.
That would probably help.
Is that an extra? How do I add the tricorder?
So that sometimes sometimes it lowers the difficulty, sometimes it makes something impossible possible. So we'll say that just examining it for problems would be a difficulty 3. Using the tricorder will lower it to a difficulty 2. So you can decide. Again, the one thing you have to spend momentum for up front is boosting your dice pool. So with your attribute and discipline and your focus, do you feel as though you want to spend from the momentum pool to purchase extra dice?
I think I'm okay. I think I got this.
Okay.
All right. So complication range is 2. Is that what difficulty?
No,
is?
that was it's normally 1. I forget we
Okay,
extended it for that funkiness, but you can put that back to 1.
Perfect. Okay.
I keep forgetting this with the roll 20. Like I gotta remind you. Yes.
Here we go. 3 successes.
Yeah.
Yes, look at that. Okay, so you got a bonus momentum. Yeah,
It's
you
doctor time.
by the injuries and the necrotization, you would agree with Dr. Spencer, who you have met. You would agree with Dr. Spencer's assessment that these injuries were inflicted after the person was dead. You don't find you find no sign of injury that would cause death, no sign of again, no sign of trauma, no like attack wound. The only thing that would explain it is there is absolutely no sodium chloride in this body at all.
That feels strange.
Indeed. So you have a point of momentum, and the pool is full. So if you want to spend that for extra information,
I guess my initial question is, they mentioned that sodium was being stockpiled when we got here. Do I think this is the kind of sodium that they would need for other procedures?
well, you didn't hear it was being stockpiled. You heard there's a shortage.
There's a shortage. Would I think that this kind of sodium would be an appropriate replacement for human sodium?
Yes. Again, your most basic way of combating the super hot and dry would be salt tablets as part of your daily supplement. Sodium chloride is basic salt, and it's short on the planet, and it's missing from this body.
That's interesting and strange. I will share that finding with the group.
Damn it.
Instead of re-rolling, you could spend that point of momentum to confirm that the other 7 bodies are also completely devoid of sodium chloride.
Yes, I will do that.
Okay.
Cammy knows what's happening. Cammy knows what's happening, but I don't know if Barnes knows.
Well,
Does Barnes?
I don't know. Maybe insight and science with a history focus might be it's kind of obscure, so we'll say difficulty 2.
It's fair. So you said a what and what?
Insight and science with a history focus.
Could I do? If I'm assessing this as a threat, can I call that a security?
I'll buy that.
And then my second thing here, you said insight.
Insight is
This
kind
is
of
a-
your
yeah.
what you know
This-
kind of stuff.
Well, no, this is like a half meta question. I am vaguely aware of the season and episode from the series that you are referencing,
Uh-huh.
or that I think you are referencing. There's a Spock quote about salt that pinged me about this, because again, that was my role. So would my character, who is so just enmeshed in Starfleet gossip and command nonsense, would I have been aware of this encounter? Is this an encounter that has already happened and I would be aware of through the Starfleet grapevine? Or is this something that I would just know about because of science?
Well, and again, science is kind of the skill. They're like, if you call it history, social science.
Yeah.
But so you have your
But it
celebrity
is.
gossip, but you also have your history. So you have several focuses. It doesn't matter which one applies because any applicable focus means that your discipline is your critical success range.
Yeah, I was gonna
So,
go for more. Well, I can't command discipline this, can I? Okay, never mind.
this is. I mean, science or as a security concern, I could see using security. I don't know. And that's one of those you can argue that command would cover history, but
That's why I was asking. Would this be more? I'm aware of this because I'm a command officer, and this is a weird protocol thing because the nonsense that happened on the Enterprise is routinely referenced post
really,
original series because
yeah.
Enterprise, Voyager, Deep Space are anomalous. So I guess it was more depending on where my knowledge bank is what my discipline for this would be. But
Right. So the original series television show episodes with Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, that would have been in universe. That would have been about 12 years ago.
okay.
So that what you're suspecting happened in the past. So you might be aware of it. So again, difficulty 2. You can decide if you want to buy extra, like I said, and it's one of those things. I screwed this up a lot last year when I was running this because everything else you can pay for after the fact. So I was letting people buy extra dice after they rolled to see how they did. That's not how the mechanics work. So I screwed that up. So I'm just trying to emphasize it now. You've got a decent. I mean, you have an applicable focus. You have a fairly high discipline. If you feel you want extra dice, knowing if you get extra successes, you're going to be able to put momentum back in the pool. So I'm just
Can I just get one more?
okay.
roll
Yes,
3.
I just won.
All right, and
So you're going to roll a total of 3
with
and your focus
insight
is the focus.
and command and history. Cool. Yee.
What? What's wrong?
Yeah. I got 3 successes and a complication.
Oh,
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything, so we're going to bank that.
Damn it. Just use them. Stop.
Very
Stop
soon.
teasing me.
Very
torment.
soon.
Torture. I see you
So-
shiver with Antissa.
Sam.
And so the bonus momentum you built you can be put back in the pool. So again, it's as if you didn't spend any. Yes, on Stardate 1513.1, USS Enterprise at the planet M113. You know, now that you think about it, Drayson's that's where you've seen those ruins before. There were similar ruins on planet M113. Yeah.
Okay.
This is not good.
No.
If
No,
what
it's
you
not.
recall of the creature is accurate, this is very not good.
Nope. Nope. Oh god.
You seem excited,
I'm-
Owens.
No, I'm not excited. That was a camera reaction.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'm just like the enemy within. Yes. One of my favorite episodes. Sorry. I okay. So what the frick? I'm trying to remember what the name of the thing was.
They didn't. It was the last of its kind. They didn't give it a name, although fandom has nicknamed it the Salt Succubus.
Okay.
Salt vampire, and it gets called back up in
Oh yeah, salt vampire because it doesn't have a gender.
And it comes back up in
Yeah.
That's
lower
right. It did
decks.
appear in lower decks, didn't it?
Yep.
Oh, I curse you, lower decks. You're spoiler alerting.
This is also why you have to do this. So I basically explain there is something on this planet that Kirk and the Enterprise has already encountered. It seems to be able to, I believe it's a shapeshifter, or it can change its appearance because Kirk's thing was there was an evil Kirk and a good Kirk.
Well, based on the reports, you would assume it's not so much a shapeshifter as it is some sort of psionically empowered character. Based on the Enterprise reports, several crewmen looking at the creature saw different people.
Okay.
Although it can choose to appear specifically as one person to everyone who sees it.
Yes. Okay. Yep. There's a psionic illusion throwing, salt sucking vampire thing that Kirk found somewhere on this planet. That might be why there's a salt shortage.
That was a lot of words I didn't know existed in Star Trek. I need a minute. I didn't know salt sucking vampires were on the table.
Oh,
I read
yeah.
a lot. I read a lot of old world sci-fi and horror, and I spend a lot of time with my nieces reenacting them in the holodecks. A lot of Marie Shelley and all that. But yeah, so that's probably what's doing this to these people. But how the hell did it get here?
To borrow another old Earth concept, is this one of those we have to nuke it from orbit to be sure situations?
Well, I don't know, but on starting 1513.1, the creature found its way onto the Enterprise, so it came to them.
I suspect that it's been here for this entire time. That recent mining opportunities and actions, either by the locals or by the Romulans, have woken it up or are unsealed it, or unleashed this plague upon themselves. And Kevin has a really bad poker face.
I'm going to start masking again, just for streaming.
They, if I remember correctly, they left it on a random winter planet.
No,
No, in the
No,
episode
they
they
killed
shot
it.
it.
McCoy killed it because it was putting the whammy on Kirk. So Kirk, Spock, and McCoy end up luring it to its doom and then giving it the old phaser.
Yeah, McCoy shoots it. If I remember correctly, Dr. Leonard McCoy shot it, insisting they could not take the risk on it. And whilst the crew was all dying from hypothermia, it got him one last tussle with Kirk and was left to be.
I
No,
think you're
you're misremembering.
You're mixing episode monsters. It was a hot planet. The creature was masquerading as there was a scientist. The Enterprise stopped to give them their annual physical, and the scientist was acting all weird. McCoy knew his wife. She was the one that got away. So the opening scene, he sees her as if she hasn't aged a day. Kirk sees an older woman, and the nameless crewman with no stripes on his sleeve, of course not going to survive, sees a blonde bombshell from Wrigley's Pleasure Planet. And so that's the clue that, hey, we all saw a different person. Yeah.
I think you were right.
Yeah, there's a tussle on the board of the Enterprise at the end where.
Woo! Yeah, it was the episode was called The Man Trap. It was actually the first.
Oh, you're right.
First one aired before even the pilot.
I hope you're all not expecting me to follow on the steps of Dr. McCoy, because that dude's a freaking hero.
Enemy Within, one of the.
That was an old love of Kirk's that body switched with him, wasn't it?
No, Enemy Within. It was a random incorporeal being, but you could tell who it was by whether or not there was salt in its body. You could scan it for sodium chloride, and there was no sodium chloride in its body. I did get my monsters mixed up. Salt Vampire looks like an angry Yeti.
Yes, when it's in its true form, yes.
So, speaking of salt vampires in true form, I would like to look at all the known locations for the attacks, which are all happening on the northern side of the settlement.
Okay.
And to see if I can extrapolate a possible lair that would be conveniently close to those attacks.
Okay.
Lieutenant Drayson, can you modify our tricorders to scan for something like that?
Possibly.
That would be tricky just because I don't know that you would have a sample of what the creature's signs were like.
If it feeds on sodium chloride, it would excrete something akin to a sodium byproduct. So we would just need to scan for highly concentrated, not elevated, but concentrated levels of sodium chloride byproducts in the atmosphere.
Or you could do process of elimination. Just scan for all life forms and discount any humans, Klingons, Romulans, and things that we can clearly identify.
That's also a valid tactic.
I'm willing to throw. I mean, seriously, take all the momentum you need to make that.
Yeah, I think that is a great
That's
use
the
of our
danger
time.
of a full momentum pool. Okay,
Seriously, take all the momentum you need to find the Geiger counter of happiness.
okay.
Oh,
So, Mr. Drayson, why don't you give us are you so you're doing a threat assessment? You want to do insight or reason and security, or are you going to sell me on a different discipline?
Well, I'm going to be using, I like to use insight and science, since I've got geology and xenobiology and stuff and physics and all that stuff.
I'll take that as a valid argument. Sure.
To suss out where could it be hiding, because it's obviously hiding someplace during the day because it's attacking at night. Or where can its lair be? Yeah.
you can also look for the smell of chlorine.
Okay. So yes, difficulty. Well, before you roll, so you didn't roll yet, did you?
No, I can.
Okay. So it's going to be a difficulty 2. You can decide. Again, you have a full momentum pool. If you want to purchase any extra dice.
Sure, I'd like to take an extra die.
Okay. So 1 extra dice will cost you 1. A second one will cost you 2 more. You basically to purchase 3 extra dice, you would wipe out a full momentum pool. Or if you run out of momentum, you can give me threat to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Come on, I've only got 12 threat. What do you think? So you're by 1?
You just dump all of them on us.
I don't think only is the word you want to use for that.
Yeah.
Kevin.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
You keep saying this word. I do not think it means what you think.
So I got 3 successes.
3 total successes.
And if it matters, it looks like a couple of them. No, I was thinking one of them was a crit, but it wasn't.
Well, it is. When I hover over it, but it's what it should be showing up as a. Oh, it is 2 because the first one's a crit. So the 2 was 5 or less, was a 5, but because that's below or equal to your discipline,
Science.
that counts as 2. Yes.
So
Yeah.
So it mathed automatically for me. Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. We're overthinking it. Okay. So you got 1 more momentum than you needed, so you could put that back in the pool. You decide to spend it. Looking at the scans of the original settlement amongst the ruins, and you remember when you're doing your sort of approach planning, most of the freshwater on this planet is underground. And the reason this settlement was placed here is because there's an underground river running along the north side of this valley, in which New Cairo was built. Your geological, like you cross-reference where the bodies have been found, and they all seem to be paralleling the underground river that New Cairo is drawing its water from.
It is in the water.
Well, is there any like natural outcrops or anything that would let us get into the underground river from there, like cavern system or anything like that?
There's nothing that you see on the records, but I mean, again, judging by where the bodies have been found, there must be something there.
Hey.
The local government building is actually smack dab between 2 of the places where bad things have happened. Ablert's Tavern is run by a Bolian by the same name, and the Fallon House is run by an Ecosian who is human looking because special effects budget's low, named Darius. So you are kind of right between 2 areas where bodies have been found.
Hmm. Interesting. Uh,
Is the locals still here, or the constable and them, or did they?
I would assume so, unless
Yeah.
send him off while you're doing your planning.
Um, have there been any recent mining or digging out towards that direction?
Well, actually, there's not any mining in the northern ridge. The few mines that are here at New Cairo are along the southern ridge.
Interesting. It's probably in the mines. The other half of me is wondering if we should scan the assistant. Maybe she's the salt vampire.
I think, yeah, probably the person who was lying about the warning.
Well, actually, would you all mind? Uh, we have to reconfigure. Is that the right word, officer?
Reconvene?
We have to reverse the
No,
polarity.
not reverse the polarity, but we just need to work on setting new parameters for our scanners because we're going to be scanning for very specific things. So if you three, and I point towards the mayor, the assistant constable, can we just use you all as like a base group to like get what people's baselines are supposed to look like here?
Sure.
Cool. I'm just going to scan them openly to see if any of them have really sky high or sky or like devil low levels of sodium chloride.
Interesting. Okay, so you aim your tricorder and go to do your thing. And don't you give me a control and command opposed roll.
And because I have constantly watching, when I attempt a task to detect danger or hidden enemies, which this is, it reduces the difficulty by 1.
Okay.
I think that's all I can do here. I've got.
Do you have any applicable focuses that would expand your critical success range?
I don't.
I mean, you shouldn't be terribly alarmed, but I'm going to be spending 6 threat.
History. I can see.
That was an alarming
Well,
sentence you just said, Kevin.
this is an opposed roll.
Oh, so protocol?
It's not really history. History is not really applicable in this sense for what you're opposed.
Then I would say either Starfleet, as a first officer, with Starfleet protocol. That's basically, it's like threat assessment when things change, or
what are
team
some of
dynamics.
Your other focuses? What are some of your? Read me your other focuses.
Inspiration, Starfleet protocol, history, starship recognition, EVA, and team dynamics. I can make an argument for team dynamics, maybe, but that's about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of those really apply. So
cool. How much
you have the
momentum?
option? I've just told you that I am purchasing 3 bonus dice. So this is an opposed roll.
Yeah.
So the way that works is there's a basic difficulty, but because there are 2 opposed parties, whoever generates the most momentum will win the opposed task.
Okay. How much momentum do we have?
There are 6. There are 6 momentum in the pool. You could purchase 3 dice that would spend all 6, or you could give me threat instead, whichever works for you.
Oh, and I don't have any determination to use Spirit of Discovery.
I know, you spent it.
Whatever. Can y'all mind if I spend all the momentum? This feels like a big deal.
It feels important to me.
Sure, go right ahead.
Cool.
How many extra dice does that get me?
That gives you 3, so you're rolling a total of 5.
Yay! I'm still scared.
No focuses. I'm so scared. Okay.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
FIND is an acronym for effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional, which is how I'm feeling right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and roll. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get 4. Okay.
Okay, so that's pretty good.
We roll a bunch of 20s.
Only 20s.
So,
Nothing but 20s.
Roll the opposite of Eminem, Kevin.
So the so the base difficulty was 1. So both you and your opposer got 1 success, which means their momentum is subtracted from your total. But guess what? You still generated 2 momentum. As you began operating your tricorder, like you're blinking. Like, what is wrong with me? Like, they're all registering human, except no, they're not. Like, you felt this intense pressure in your mind that these 3 people read as human, but that secretary is not reading as human.
Cool.
See, here's why you shouldn't have worried. You don't know me, so you don't know that rolling 5 dice means I'm still not going to have a lot of success.
Okay.
I literally had 1 success on 5 dice.
Okay, doke. Okay, so
I wasted a lot of threat for them.
I know that she's not registering. She's registering as not what she looks like.
Yes. So here's where things get funky. So you are aware there's a problem. She is aware there's a problem. Normally, player characters start first, but here's where I do that thing where I spend some more threat. I'm going to spend 2 threat to seize the initiative. So she is going to you appear as the one who got away. Who does that look like, Commander Barnes?
The one that got away. Oh, good God. There was a Vulcan back at Starfleet Academy that he did a lot of late night piloting with. Got real good at subtlety with this guy. And unfortunately, that's how he disappeared when he got accepted back into the Vulcan Academy.
Okay. So he may have even indulged in some of those forbidden mental practices.
Oh, for sure.
So it's not weird to you that he is approaching you saying, I have missed you, reaching out with hands as if to touch those familiar psionic contact points on your face. The rest of you are like, why is the secretary approaching Commander Barnes? So she has acted.
Do we hear the secretary say those words?
No, you don't. She's oddly quiet. You see the governor and the constable are looking at her like, what's happening right now? Like, they're just befuddled. So one of you, other than Commander Barnes, give me, well, actually everyone but Commander Barnes, give me an insight and security roll. Difficulty 2.
I feel like I failed the contested roll there.
Well, you didn't, but so she did something else.
Oh, okay.
To try and
not a complication,
you're not gonna
Tom.
lose your turn. She's just sort of bumping you down the initiative track.
Gotcha. Tom,
My boy Tom, feed me them complications.
Not the complication, Tom.
Here we go. All aboard the trauma train.
Destination me.
Okay, so nobody got 2 successes.
We're all gonna die.
And we got a complication. So, so basically, this round, because you don't really know there's a conflict, the rest of you are kind of flapping in the breeze. So it is Commander Barnes's turn. You need to sort of fight off this haze you're in. So command sounds like the discipline for sure. Is that daring, or is it presence, or is it reason? What is your approach to knock yourself, like, this Vulcan guy can't be here, like, where did he come from? But like, in the back of your mind, you're like, this is good, and for the back of your mind, like, no, this is bad, this is something bad is about to happen.
In insight, this guy ghosted me. Why the fuck would he come back saying that he missed me all of a sudden on a random barren ass planet?
Okay. All right. So to reassert control of yourself, you're going to need a difficulty 2 task.
Can I make an argument for inspiration as a focus? Because this is, I'm literally I am kind of inspiring myself to be like, hey, this is super out of character. You should be aware of this. Do your duty.
So now, because there's no momentum, do you want to spend any threat to purchase extra deck?
Hell no.
Okay.
Stuff at Rumpelstiltskin. Not taking your deal. Begone!
Jonesy, that's what the thing looks like. I just saw the picture in Discord.
Yes, that's what it looks like. Oh, okay. So there are your 2 successes. You are free to act in this round. So that was sort of a reaction to reassert control of yourself. What do you want to do as your action?
Do I have enough time to whip out which one is the non-lethal phaser?
Well, any of them can be set to stun. We can make the argument that it was already set to stun. So you could, as a minor action, take your phaser out and then shoot this thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Warden Maximus says we're about to get assaulted.
Oh, no.
I have just been told that on away missions, I would have a phaser type 2 because that is technically my sidearm.
Yes.
This is what I get for having a nerd.
So range combat is a difficulty 2. You're rolling control and security. Do you have any applicable focuses?
Oh, I thought I was just rolling the little thing that says roll my weapon.
That's if you hit. You still have to make
it.
Yes. So here's the thing. Because it's range combat is just a difficulty 2. Melee combat is an opposed roll. So melee combat in Star Trek gets real crazy.
Yeah, no. We're not doing that. So you said it's control and
security. Yes.
Security?
Yes.
And then I've got protocol as one of my focuses. May I use that?
I'll buy that.
I've got a 3.
Very good. So you got the 2 that you needed plus an extra one. So you can spend momentum for lots of things. It may be depending on how you roll. So now you're going to go down to your weapon, and you're going to click the little Starfleet symbol next to your damage dice. Okay. Oh my lord. Okay, so you've got. So the way this works.
I've got 3 effects, and I did 6 damage.
Yes. So 5 stress or more does an injury. Since you did it non-lethal, that means it's not dying, it's just stun.
Cool.
And with the phaser, like, you kind of have to spend a minor action to set the special effects, but that's okay because you technically did 2, 4, 6. You did 8 stress to it, which is like it kind of shrieks, and then everyone sees. Are we allowed to throw that picture from the Discord up? I don't know how that works with licensed stuff. Can we show everybody
the
picture?
It's probably all right.
Just put it up in.
That's true. We're doing Modifia stuff. We're pimping the Star Trek.
Put it up on Wiki screen. Put it up as Wiki's avatar.
Out yonder can see what this thing looks like in its true form.
It's horrendous. It is nightmare fuel, and it is made only worse because it has only been made with prosthetics and makeup.
Yeah. So this creature collapses right there in the morgue as it is reaching for Commander Barnes, and it falls down. Well, how's that for a photo finish? It's 10:04, and the creature has been.
Tag it and bag it. Let's go see if it has a friend.
Yes. It does not. When you go to the places where the attacks have been occurring, Planet M113. There it is. Yeah. Isn't that pretty? I don't think so.
It's so pretty.
The ruins on M113, like that planet was just dry. Whereas New Sahara has underground water. So the ruins on New Sahara hide access points to the underground river, which lead to a stasis device that appears to be several centuries old by your tricorder scans of carbon dating, but something released it. There appears to be a cavern system that follows the underground river, and there are access points up to the old ruins. But yeah. So I learned my lesson. I built a very sandboxy encounter. So, depending on how fast things went, there'd be a lot more stuff going on or a lot less. And then there's cliffhangers for if there's ever a part 3. So yes, you have brought the salt vampire to a halt and ended the mysterious deaths on New Cairo. So another successful mission for the crew of the USS Griffin.
Huzzah.
So thanks everybody. Like I said, I love Star Trek. I love this era of Star Trek. Thanks for tuning in and watching us play. Thank you to my players for being willing to subject yourself to my maniacal obsession with this era of Star Trek.
Scary salt monster.
Yeah, my scary salt monster. I mean, lots of great stuff coming up in 2024 on Untold Stories projects. Hopefully you'll stick around for some of that. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to kick it over to Jonesy, and the rest of the crew can say goodbye.
Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. I had a blast, Kevin. Always do. So thank you.
Cool.
I like playing Star Trek. Even my character's a little bit on the quieter side than the commander, and the officers, the face people. So, cool. Other than that, lots of cool stuff going on the channel. We've got more M&M coming up soon. We've got some other cool plans cooking away. So with that, I kick it down to Alex.
Yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. If you didn't know, we have a partnership with Norse Foundry going on right now. If you use the discount code USP Norse on their website, you get 10% off all sorts of metal dice and free shipping, I believe. So head over there if you need to pick up any dice for yourself now that the holidays are coming to an end. And if you haven't yet, please come over and support us on Patreon, patreon.com/UntoldStoriesProject. We have a bunch of content coming there very soon that is unique. We do actual plays with people who are members of our Patreon, which we did our first one a few weeks ago. It was a ton of fun. We did the Legends of Tomorrow. And, yeah, as far as updates, we have a new blog post coming up on tomorrow morning. And next Tuesday, we have... we don't have an RPG stream. We have a Baldur's Gate 3 stream next Wednesday, and then we'll be back to sort of our regularly scheduled program the week after that. So, thank you for tuning in with us, and please, 2024 is gonna be a huge year for us, and you're not gonna want to miss a minute of it. I'll pass it over to Cam.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, Alex, Kevin, Jonesy, Tom, everyone. This was a lot of fun. I love Star Trek just as a general thing. So getting to play around in the world like this was a lot of fun. I always end up playing a bard. I don't know why, but this was a lot of fun. Are we allowed to talk about Origins, the con?
We can talk about it. We haven't announced it all yet, but you can let everybody know that you'll be there.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be... I know that Origins is very focused on anything but D&D. I'm going to be doing just the one D&D table, but I'm putting my own little fun spin on it. I'll be utilizing a little bit more of a survival aspect, if you will, some spooky things. But this has been an absolute blast. Be on the lookout for my upcoming projects. I have a stream that I'm working on with some friends. We're recording Waterdeep with a lot of fun. But this has been an absolute blast, and I hope to come back for more streams with you all.
Yeah, I know a wizard from Waterdeep who likes to eat shoes.
Yes, but I would love to come back for more streams, especially for USS Griffin. This is a fun system and a fun world to play in, so I would love to come back. I'm going to pass it to Tom.
Yeah. Thank you very much for having me, Kevin. It was a blast. Thank you. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So yeah, we had some hints. Lots of great stuff coming next year. Yeah. So come back and see us sometime real soon. Anything else, Alex?
No, thank you everybody, and be good people.
Good night. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Live long and prosper.